You're watching Fine and Dandy. Cheers.
Hi, my name's Cameron, and you need to check out the Fine and Dandy podcast.
You are now watching Fine and Dandy.
Watch the Fine and Dandy podcast. Good shit.
Hey, what's up? We're Soe, and you're watching Fine and Dandy.
Hey everyone, it's your boy Blacasso, and you're tuning in with Fine and Dandy.
You are now watching Fine and Dandy!
Bueno, sí.
So we have Corey on the show today. It's been 3 years since the last time we had him on.
Ep 2.
The what?
Ep 2.
Yeah.
Vol
Mr. Corey.
2.
Boot mixtape.
A lot has happened since the last time he's been on, honestly. Funny enough, story, Corey's episode has the most views of all of our podcasts.
All of our guest episodes and...
Not great, but you should go
episodes.
watch it.
Not saying I know what to do. Like, comments.
Yeah, definitely go watch it so you
Make sure
can
you-
kind of laugh at what we were doing back then and where we have come or how far we have come to this point. But definitely go check that out. That was I want to apologize in advance before you check it out. The audio is not going to be good and the video is not much better.
Conversation?
The conversation
May or may not. I don't remember what we talked about.
That's what you're there for.
It was still okay.
It was not the best, but it's what you're there for.
Yeah, dude.
You have to bypass all the other things.
The journey. It's the journey, not the destination. That's what they always say.
That's the foundation. That was bigger and better.
Make sure you speak up and talk. Sorry. You gotta make
Foundation.
Sure we're getting no more technical difficulties on this
My
side.
foundation. Foundation. Like a fucking charity? Like an organization?
Foundation?
Foundation.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. He said it.
Last one's like a foundation.
Oh, yeah. We were building the cement.
Yeah, now we're building.
Yes.
We're building.
We
Brick.
put
I mean,
we
like
laid the
3 years ago.
cement. Cemented. We're cemented into history.
I didn't know that's where you're gonna go with
I
that.
don't know. I'm fucking.
Yeah, so since then Corey's gotten married. I'm happy for you. Congratulations. Both Josh and I were in that wedding.
We were. It was beautiful. But that was when was that? It was not last year.
September
it was 2 years
of
ago.
2020. Got married
Fucking 3
in the
years
height of
ago.
the pandemic.
It wasn't the height of it.
No, the height was probably like
Jesus
what,
Christ,
March.
it's been 3
But
years.
it was still
since
in the
then.
pandemic, masked up, all that.
Yeah.
No mask at the wedding. That was
That
like
was
a big.
kind of
It was
the
a
height,
paradise.
though. I mean, the height
was-
was like in that first year, really. I
We
mean,
were going through the shits. Like every month, there was something else that happened. It was like,
Yeah.
what's gonna happen this month? Like the killer bees 1 month.
because I mean, it started like that shit was hilarious. The killer
Bro, it was
hornets
like
or
every month.
whatever.
Yes, bro.
I mean, at this point, it's like every day is a new TV show. This breaking episode: aliens are now invading America. Like,
Bro, we're getting there. We're talking about aliens in Congress right now.
I
Like,
mean, it is that realistic like vision of like the news distracting the masses type shit.
100%.
Because it's literally every single day there's some like it seems like a comic book news flash type
It's
shit.
wild.
Like, you know what I mean? Like you just like killer hornets. What will Spider-Man do?
Ever since Donald Trump got elected for president the first time. Because it started as a joke, a complete joke.
Right.
Like, he was surprised he won type shit. And ever since then, it was just, bar has been, I don't know if it was raised or lowered, maybe lowered.
I mean,
But-
it depends on which way you look at it. Because I mean, like, if it has been raised, then we're severely disappointing that
Same.
meeting
I'm
that
saying.
expectation. But if it has been lowered, that's also disappointing to begin with because it wasn't that high to begin with.
I think we all need to study The Simpsons, all the episodes, because that's what's coming next. Like, how much more shit can they be right about until we're out of episodes?
Oh, what was the last
Like-
one? They were right about the submarine shit.
Yeah,
I think it's submarine
it's
shit.
just so weird.
Dude, it's just at this point. I think I gave up on humanity, and I was just like, I don't care what's next. Whenever it was like, I'm telling you, when they did the "We Are the World" with like all the fucking,
Yeah,
and then they
The
did
actors
the
and
go
actresses.
vote, the go vote or whatever, and they were all naked. I was like,
Oh,
all
I didn't
right.
see that one.
Yeah.
I don't know about that
It
one
was like
either.
all the I don't want to say B-list actors. I don't know if that's disrespectful to them, but a bunch of B-list actors like go
naked.
vote, and they're like all naked. I'm like, what is
What
this?
is
Give
this
me
have
one
to do
name
with
of
anything?
give me one name of a B-list actor that was on there, 'cause I do not recall that.
I think Aaron Paul was on. No, I think that was.
No, that was the. I apologize.
Oh, I
for
hate
Okay,
that.
those
That
were dumb
one
too.
Yeah,
asked.
no,
See, that's what there's
Yeah.
too many.
I stand with the Black Lives Matter. It's like
Yeah.
I stand with whatever movement too, but this is not the way to do this. This is horribly
Honestly,
done.
how funny would it be you get all your friends together like, hey, dude, you want to make a compilation that says I stand with, like, instantly, everyone's like, fuck no.
Well,
that's-
I think the funniest part about that is like someone that paid for that commercial thought that it was going to have a different effect. You know
Gonna
what I mean?
resonate with people,
Someone
like-
thought they're like, people are gonna want to hear this.
Great PR move. Great PR move. What's that? Yeah, dude, this is gonna really hit them right here. It's gonna touch the souls of the world.
Who started the Let's Get Naked and tell people to vote? Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like that's
Why was
that's an
that?
interesting one.
Let me see if I can fucking hold on. I gotta pull this up real
You have a
quick.
computer in
If
front
I-
of you, by the way.
I know.
the internet's on that thing too.
Technology, am I right?
Technological
Alright, while he
innovation.
looks that up, have y'all seen fucking? There's a headset that you pull it. I don't know all the specifics on how. My bad.
But I'm with you.
Yeah, there's a headset, and you could like Google things. Like you use the internet essentially with
shit.
your brain. Yeah.
Are you
I think
talking about
that's-
the new Apple shit?
I don't know if that's
I don't
Apple.
think- I
I'm
don't
not
think it's
sure
Apple.
what that is. I
So
think
are you
that's-
saying it's kind of like the Google glasses, but like a whole ass headset type
Yes,
shit? And
you're
what-
using your brain power to search on the internet.
That's
Or Chris
Kinda,
Rock was
yes.
on this.
that's kind of interesting
Oh.
in the way that it's like, wait, no way, Chris Rock was on it. Why? These are
Sarah
A-list
Silverman.
actors.
Yeah,
these
A-list
are-
act- even
I
worse,
know
A-list act-
Most of these people.
What
Mark
the fuck
Ruffalo?
is going on?
They just slid this,
This
in
is
the
a fever
2020.
dream right here. Look.
How does this have anything to do with voting?
Ballots can be naked.
Oh my god.
You don't vote.
Interesting.
That's what they're
Okay.
going for?
That was a good
That
bit.
was the okay.
Yeah, someone was writing that up in the writers' room. That's
know
why
what
they're
will work?
striking right now.
Yeah.
Because they're like, fuck.
For the idiot in the room, what does ballots can be naked mean?
I think it just means like if you don't
Like if
vote,
it's blank, someone
Yeah.
else could like fill your shit in,
probably.
right? Like
I
a
would
naked
imagine.
ballot.
Yes. Like I guess voter fraud maybe.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I
Honestly,
don't think it had to make sense because we were in 2020 and nothing made sense. So
At
it's
that-
like just
You're
throw
not
that
wrong,
out there, put that in the ether for now, and digest
Let me
that.
see.
Just the fact that we moved on from 2020 and like, obviously regular people do, but like the government doesn't acknowledge that they shut shit down.
no, really though.
Tons of businesses failed.
Oh yeah, it was.
They gave us $1,200 one or two times, and like, all right, y'all are good.
And then with the taxes on that shit. Fuck you, bro. How you?
Now it's $4,000 to have a basic house.
Bro, they're like, hey, yeah, you know that money we gave you to help you out of
Monthly.
whatever. Actually, you got to pay on that. That's funny. And then also on top of that, we're gonna make the rest of your life unlivable.
Okay, so no,
Congrats.
naked ballots are essentially completed ballots that have been placed directly in a return envelope and are missing a secrecy envelope. So essentially this is for like the mail-in voting type shit. I guess like you had to put it in a specific type of envelope to send it back. You couldn't just use the return one that it came with. Maybe you had to do some extra shit or
You
something.
think that that video though is
That's what
really
they're-
gonna get the people like,
Right.
rethinking anything? Like, now that I saw you naked, but not really though. You were like
Right.
half naked. Now I'm
This is
really-
what it is. You must
the rest
complete
on
your
OnlyFans.
ballot and insert it into the smaller white secrecy. Why is it got to be white? Secrecy envelope. This is what Pennsylvania considers to be the clothes for your ballot. So it's a clothed ballot if it's in the secrecy envelope, or a naked ballot if it's not.
That's how you know we're just making shit up.
That is how you
Right.
know we are just making shit up. What the fuck is going on? They made a whole ass commercial
That
about
alone is ridiculous.
mailing your shit right.
Anyways, wrapping back around. The end of COVID 2020. Corey got married. Josh
Yes.
and I were the groomsmen, or not the groomsmen,
two
but
of-
we
we
were
had
We
two
were
of
the
the
big ass
groomsmen.
wedding.
There were
Two
a few
of 10.
groomsmen. There was 10
We had-
groomsmen, but
yeah,
we were
plenty.
the groomsmen.
Do you want to know
Yes.
something kind of funny?
Yeah, very, very great.
So okay, so Corey essentially let us all give like a 30-second. What was like 30 seconds, right?
It was
Supposed to be.
supposed to be.
It's
Yeah, it was
supposed to
supposed to
be.
be.
It was supposed. We were on a time crunch. Just to be fair though, Corey fucked up, and also was part of this. We were all drinking. He let
Tell me
us
how
all
I
drink.
fucked up.
He
Okay.
let us all pregame.
I could elaborate on that. So.
He let us all. He let us all pregame heavy before the wedding.
I will say I did not know what was going on most of the time.
Shit's
and wedding
hilarious.
rehearsals.
The way you said he let us, as in,
I'll
like,
say-
he was like, "No, guys, you can't stay sober. You have to drink. There's drinks here. You
Kinda.
don't you dare."
Nah, he was like, "Hey, yeah, go look in the fridge. There's a bunch of bottles of champagne and alcohol in there, guys. Let's pop another
we
one."
We got there at 8, 9 in the morning. You know, supposed to get ready. It was nice. Had a little
I got there a
foosball
little
table
late.
in there.
I'm like,
But,
Yeah,
but once I got there, people were already drinking. I
we had the
started
speaker
drinking
going. We were
immediately.
chilling.
I will say
vibing.
this. So like the other wedding that like I've only been to 3, right? 2 of the 3 I was a groomsman in. But the second one that I went to, I was a groomsman. I will say it was not as much of a party beforehand as that one was. Like
We were
fucking-
turning up.
were
That was
going
my
up.
first wedding, by the way. I was in one when I was like
Really?
a child, but I barely remember. It was my uncle's.
Yeah,
but I
I've
was like,
been-
I had no clue like what
I
the
have
order of
been to,
operations
like
was.
a couple weddings that I didn't know anybody there type
Okay,
shit. Like
so
it was
you were
like
just-
I'm there with my mom or there with
Yeah.
like a brother or something like that. I had gone to shit. I'm blanking right now. One of my brother's friends' weddings, I believe.
Open bar.
Open
Question
bar
mark.
is
It's not a wedding
necessary.
without an open bar.
Open bar is necessary.
Don't invite me unless
Was it
there's
Joel
open bar.
White? I think I went to Joel White's wedding. Maybe.
Okay.
No, I don't remember.
All
I'm
right.
fucking up.
Good
But
job. You're fucking killing it.
I
You're
hadn't
crushing
been
it.
to any weddings like before or since that like I knew basically everybody there type shit. That was a different experience than just like kind of being a voyeur at a wedding rather than being involved in the
Oh,
wedding.
no,
I
yeah,
had an
everybody-
You know what I
amazing
mean?
time. I might have been a little biased because it was my wedding. But it was probably one of my best nights of my life.
Yeah, you were.
But I only have one wedding to really
And the
go off
bachelor
of, but-
weekend was so fun. Like
yeah.
at the
Had a lot
like
leading up
Galveston
to it.
Beach House.
Yes.
That shit was fucking
was-
awesome, dude.
That was much needed.
It's fun being married.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it.
That's a
all right.
segue.
Yeah, fun being married.
You
No, really,
get some fun
time
being
is
married?
time is fun. Like we said, it was 3 years ago since like September 2020 when we got married. So I feel like 3 years has flown by.
Yeah.
Feels like I really think about it. Puts time into perspective. You know, when you think of things like 2020, like it doesn't feel like it feels like a long time ago, but at the same time, you're like, holy shit, that was that 3 years ago.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
think
feel,
about-
the way I think about it is that like when you look back on time, it doesn't seem like it's that far away, but when you look forward in time, it seems like exponentially far away. Like when
Yeah,
you look, when you
yeah.
think like 3
5
years
years.
from now, you're like, fuck, I don't. I think about it this
That's
way. It's
scary.
like if you do the same thing every day for 3 years, like you could become like a master at that thing type shit. So theoretically, there's a pathway for you today to become a master of that thing. It just takes those 3 years. Now, whenever you're looking at it, that 3 years, it's like, fuck, it's going to take that long. But once you get there, if you're just in it every day, you look back and you're like, damn, 3 years have passed.
Yeah.
It's this weird, like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, like a paradox almost.
I
What were you
agree.
gonna say?
I'm sure you could say that about like the school or like y'all's podcast, like 2019. I'm sure I don't feel like I've had a podcast that many years now.
No, at all.
But I was gonna say when you put time in perspective of school, like we're 2 years away from our 10-year high school
Right.
reunion. Like
I was
doesn't feel
thinking
like-
about that, dude. It doesn't
Like-
make it doesn't make that much sense.
It was very close to that. Like we graduated in 15.
Yeah, I
And
mean
we're
that
2
feels
years
like,
away from being out of high school for 10 years.
Yeah.
as much as like that does feel like a long time ago. Really, it feels like you graduated yesterday type shit.
Uh-huh.
Not like
right?
you know what I mean,
know,
but it does
like it
feel
doesn't feel
you
like it was that long. Or like a decade ago, it doesn't feel that long.
But yeah, it basically was like a decade ago.
Puts
And
it in perspective though. Of
but
how
like
old
life
we
has
are.
changed so much since then too. Though I mean, how much have we grown since then? How much have we experienced? Like I said, you've gotten married since then. I mean, we lived in that house for
House was dope.
2 years. The house was
Yeah.
it was
It's an experience.
was a lot of stuff going on during that time period. But wait, what did I say? No, it's been 8 years.
Since
8 years since we graduated.
8.
That's a fucking. But no, going back to it, 3 years is like it flies by, man. But also at the same time, it's like it's one of those things where I was talking about this with my grandma. Is that before you know it, it's like almost like you blink and your whole life has kind of passed you by.
Really?
But at the same time, you are still living and like you're constantly doing this stuff, and it's kind of insane because
I feel like what Josh was saying, like if you do the same thing like every single day for 3 years, like you'll get good at that craft. But I also
Yeah.
feel like when you're not diversifying your life, time goes so much faster. Like if you're just waking up, going to work, coming home, like maybe you have gym. Hopefully you have gym in your everyday schedule. But like you get on the same track, and then time just speeds up like so much. Spend your time like doing different things. I feel like time kind of slows down. You can enjoy it because when you do new things, I feel like it's interact with your brain differently in a way.
Yeah, it creates new synapses in your
That
brain.
is a good that is a good point because I've felt that like a lot recently where like I get in these modes of after work I don't really want to do anything type shit. So before I know it, I'm working a 10-hour day, coming home not really doing much, just trying to like kind of rest and prepare for like the next day or whatever. Waking up, rinse, repeat, and I like find myself like right after Monday, damn, it's already Friday. Like, how did that happen?
yesterday? Yeah.
How did that happen? Type shit. I don't really like. I'm appreciative. I don't have to work. Oh, great, it's the weekend. But like,
That
where
goes
did
by
my
like
week
that, too.
just go? Like, I thought I had a whole week to be able to do shit. Now I don't have any more time.
Time will really slip away. It's like if you could just do those little things that you know you're supposed to be doing, you're not doing. Week's gonna go by like that anyway. Like damn, I productive during. Like that's the daily battle.
No, it really is. It's like, okay, when I was younger, your parents or adults, whatever, always tell you, you might as well work towards something so that way by the time, you don't, but you're like, whatever.
Firm believer in that.
You could do whatever. Like, for me, I was always like, I'll figure it out, right? Which, I mean, I am starting to now. Like, I'm actually getting to where, like, I know what I want to do and shit. But now I'm in perspective, I'm like, holy shit, they were right.
Yeah.
If you just spend all that time at least working towards something, you give it 5-10 years down the road. Especially as you get older, 10 years is nothing.
Yeah.
You look back at 10 years, and it's
something
not
that put
as
it into
many
put
years
it
as you think
into
it is.
perspective for me was a video that I saw of Eddie Murphy. It was like he was like walking around a set. It was like obviously like an ad for something, but like the message that he was saying was something like 75 winters, 75 springs, 75 summers, 75 autumns. That's all you got. You know what I mean? Like it. Obviously, there's some people that live older, some people that don't make it to 75. But like when you put it into perspective, like you've already used up a third of those.
Really, the first 75 years,
You've
when
already
you're gonna
used
be
up
able
a
to enjoy
third of
it.
those. You know what I mean? It's like in perspective, if you were to live 75 years, we're already a third done. You know what I mean?
50 summers, 50 winters, 50
Right, 50
20
more type shit.
20 down already now. It is wild to
Exactly.
think of it like that.
And that time does go by. I mean, 10 years it seems a long time when
It
you're
seems
looking
staggering.
I mean, we've said it
Yeah.
before. Then you look back and you're, holy shit, that
Yeah.
shit 10 years was nothing.
Right.
Back to that, like I could kill 3 hours on a video game.
Mm-hmm.
I do that often. I probably shouldn't much, but that time will fly by. Versus if I spend those 3 hours doing something else, like reading the news, meditating, that time goes.
In the
makes
way
sense.
that like you'll kind of put off doing the dishes thinking
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gonna take so long, and then as soon as you get started, it's like, wow, I have all this time on my hands because I expected this
Exactly.
to be an hour long, but it only took 20 minutes. And that extrapolates into other things.
That
It's
bullshitting
like,
time in between the task you know
Exactly.
you're supposed to do, and like
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this, and this before I do that.
That's part of my.
Like,
I feel like that's a little bit of my ADHD though. Like I'll try to find tasks to do so that I don't have to do the bigger shit.
And then you tell
know
yourself,
what I mean?
"Oh, I was at least productive because I got all this
'Cause
done."
I got this
even though
small shit done.
you have one thing you're dreading that you really don't want
Right.
to do.
That kicks in a lot for me.
I'll do that with work shit sometimes. Like I know I'm supposed to call this homeowner back or do this or do that, and like, all right, I'm gonna do the laundry, I'm gonna do the dishes, I'm gonna clean up the man
I don't wanna
cave.
fucking talk
You
to
know,
that
yeah.
motherfucker.
Like, yeah, I did good today. At least when wifey comes home, she's like, oh, you were picked up the house.
Wow.
Like, I at least get that.
Wow, you had a great day, didn't you?
Yeah.
I did.
I did. I made us $0 today. I'm 100% commission job. I made us $0 today.
Made us $0 today,
but the house is clean.
baby.
You do, so you're contributing, you know
Give
what
or
I mean?
take.
I think much has changed since you got married. I mean, for
I would
reference,
say-
Corey's been with his wife.
For over a decade. We celebrated a decade in June.
That's it.
A decade
yeah.
together. Yeah, we
Yeah,
went to
because it was sophomore year of high school.
sophomore year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Summertime. That's when.
Nice.
Yeah. We
That
went to
is
different high
crazy, dude.
schools. Went to different schools.
But you
Definitely
guys
kept in
knew each
touch.
other since y'all
We
were like
spent
kids,
every
right?
every minute we could. So we grew up in Chase Park together.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually swam in my pool in like 5th and 6th grade. Like she came over and she was
Oh,
swimming. So it's
shit.
kind of like I've known her and her family for a very long time.
Or he was grooming her.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Same
if you,
age, you know. At the
listen.
same age.
Hey, is this my camera shot or is it this?
Yeah.
Okay, this is my shot. Listen, if you want a good wife, you gotta find. No, I can't say
Oh my
that.
God, nah.
What did Isai say?
Find them young.
Oh yeah, no. You said what, man? Okay, no. At the wedding. For reference, at the
Got his
wedding.
ass back.
One of our friends went up during the speech. Honestly, not something you should. Her dad right there, literally.
Yeah.
So Isai used to date his wife way back when. Like, I mean, first of all,
Probably
They
around
did-
the same time like you knew Cressa
literally, like,
initially,
fifth
right?
grade.
Like fifth
Yeah.
grade, yeah.
he
I don't
you
even
know
think
what
they dated. I think they just like had a crush on each other.
I had a
or some
crush,
shit,
like a
yeah.
fling, maybe.
But he decided after that this was the right. He said,
Literally
"One
10
man's
years
trash
later.
is another man's treasure."
Literally 10 years later, he was like, "This is my time
Yeah,
to
right.
shine."
It's
Nah,
one
I
of those
had to-
things where I was laughing because I was kind of
It was
drunk.
like-
Bro,
we
we-
were laughing because it wasn't like a funny joke. It was like, there's no
It was
way
like the
he
audacity.
just said that.
But he
Like,
said that
real
because he
shit.
was hammered. Like,
He was. We were all
he was-
hammered.
yes,
to
we
be
were
fair.
not-
T-
yes,
like,
very.
so for reference, like whenever you give a speech at a wedding, you're given a champagne glass, right?
Yeah.
And you're supposed to like be giving a toast, and that's what kind of the speech is for. So you kind of hold up the champagne glass, and at the end of your speech, everybody da da da. This how Daniel was giving his champagne glass, and to me, he was like, "Thank you." Smash that shit. We're like, "No, Daniel, no."
Yeah, I didn't have a
Bruh.
champagne glass. I
As they were
smashed
giving,
it.
as other people were giving the speeches, I forgot that as well. And I'm standing there next to Chris, and I'm drinking my champagne, and then like the project manager lady, she comes and brings me another one. And I was like, "Oh, my bad." I was
For
like,
show,
I'm just-
please.
They're so long though. There's so many like. Now that's the only thing I could, if I would change, just shorten all that up. 'cause it
That's
was
the
just
thing
awkward
about
standing.
having like a big wedding is the festivities of it all. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I feel like you do kind of get lost in it. It's like, who is this? Is this for us still, or is this
Exactly.
for y'all?
For the
You know?
show, yeah. Because we did rehearsal the day before, and I thought we were gonna go through everything we're gonna do the next day, and they're like, "No, so this is where y'all gonna get ready in the morning. You walk here, we go
Mhm.
in here, and then that's the wedding."
right.
I was like, I have no clue what's going on. So they were grabbing me left and right yesterday. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just going with the flow.
I will
See,
say,
as a non-married person, I've always had the thought that weddings are fun for everyone except for the people getting married.
It was very stressful.
you say that, but I don't know. I would say your wedding being in that one was more a little more stressful in terms of like.
There's just
time
a lot of
constraints.
us too.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
people were just like, there was so many people that like we were spread out. So like
Yeah.
whenever they were trying to get everyone for the camera and the pictures, it was like, wait, this person's in the restroom. This
Yeah.
person had to get something out their car. This
But
person's
no, but
doing this.
That's
this
what
is
I'm
out
saying.
of
So the
line.
last wedding I was in, right? We did everything, and it was just like it flowed really well. And at the end of it, after we like they did their vows and everything, because we're all still up there. Camera person came up and said, "Y'all stay here." Got the pictures right then and there, like right where we all needed to. It's like if y'all want to get any other pictures, we can go out here, right here, and take these.
I will
And
also.
that was all.
that
Instead
was
of
it.
being, at the beginning where everyone's like, "I don't know when," and they're like, "All right, pictures
Yeah.
now," and everyone's like, "Scrambling last minute, like let's."
And it
I
was
will
so
say,
damn hot.
Y'all's photographers were not the most
They
professional.
were
They were
terrible.
not the
Bro.
most professional, to be fair. They were like not really knowing what to do, just kind
Not
of
at
sitting
all.
around. Type
Our
shit.
pictures came back pretty terrible. Our video was pretty awful. It actually came up on my phone the other day. My manager sent me something through Dropbox, and I haven't looked at my Dropbox, and the wedding video happened to be in there.
Damn.
And I went through and like just fast forwarded through lots of
It was-
parts of it. This was like 2 days ago, and it was like the actual like part on the dance floor. He just set the camera like in
Dude,
the corner, like he set it in
he
the
just
corner.
put it on
here.
a tripod.
Yeah, and that was the whole. There was no extra.
'Cause it
Like
was
that
a
was the
tri-
end of the video. That was
It was
the
a
start and the
tripod
end.
on wheels, so
Yeah,
some
yeah,
other
roll it
people were
around.
like grabbing it and like moving it around and shit.
The video we got back, it was in one spot the whole time. So we have the same people dancing in one corner. Like you're getting the same shot the entire time. It's like, yeah, we'd really like to see everyone at the wedding.
Who'd y'all hire?
The wrong people, apparently.
It didn't seem like anyone's
I know.
family or anything like that. It
Yeah,
just
it
seemed like
wasn't any
a
family.
like an
I don't know.
outside source.
I was very hands off. I had one part to do. Got
Yeah,
the cake and
That's
the dress.
ideal.
and that
That's
was-
ideal.
Yeah, because I
Not
didn't want a
having
big
much to do.
wedding.
Yeah.
Really, I was like, let's get a small wedding, then take all that money we go on like a vacation or something.
That's what.
Oh
he got.
no, we're gonna do it.
She wanted, yeah, she wanted a
Yeah,
big one.
fuck
So
that
I was
noise.
like, y'all want to pool that money together? Then of course, y'all.
Oh
go
well, no,
for it.
I mean, her dad's gonna pay for.
Yeah, no.
we
Honestly,
broke it up. We have a lot of family.
I
so-
have that thought process. Like I really like. Don't get me wrong. The only reason I don't want daughters is because that is a financial like.
At some point, I'm
thing that is-
dropping 30,
But that's
30
what I'm saying.
racks
Is
on the
is
wedding.
like
50
that
racks.
that whole tradition is great as long as you have sons.
Yeah. right.
Shit, the last wedding I went to, that shit was like 50.
Yeah. Well, the venue alone was 30.
That's, I feel like that's average.
for
That's what I'm
ours,
saying.
yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like
Venue's
50
30,
is
then you
on
got-
like the
everything's-
average level.
I was saying, yeah, that's what I meant. The venue was like
Yeah.
50K.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
so
yeah,
expensive.
yeah.
But it was at a vineyard. The last
Okay.
one I just went to was at a vineyard. and like
What
they had
is
a
a
winery.
vineyard? Is it just
It's
like
a
where they-
vineyard. I heard this on a podcast.
Fuck you.
No, it really is.
Wait, for
It's,
what?
yes, it's like translated or some shit. It's literally a vineyard. Like, when in
Grapes. They grow the
English-
grapes.
for the wine?
Yeah.
Okay.
but it's,
But
literally
it's like beautiful for weddings. I never got that. Like,
No, it is kind of like honestly, the venue was it was beautiful.
like, cause that's what I'm saying is it's like is a part of growing wine having like aesthetically pleasing places. You know what I mean?
No, I think it just what
Does it help the wine?
So this vineyard, though, honestly, what was insane? He whenever the groom was walking us through it, you know, because he's one of my good friends. I hadn't seen him in a while though, because he lives pretty far from here. But he was telling me that venue was built by this guy whose daughter was getting married, and he didn't really like any of the venues, so he just got a venue built for his daughter to get married in.
at a vineyard.
That's some fucking crazy ass shit.
Right? I was like, what?
Like, no,
You're gonna drop the
honestly,
bread.
We visited 10 venues today. They were all pretty ass. We did see that plot of land on Route 66 though.
Yeah,
What if we just built one?
yeah, just got the venue built.
That's
They
crazy.
like rent it
Or
out
his daughter.
afterwards because like the wedding.
I mean, you
But
have to.
that's what he does.
There's
now,
no
yeah.
way you
Yeah.
don't.
I would say
Once you
going through
build something
that-
like that.
like I didn't do it very hands on, but I saw Cresta going through all the stress of planning all that. The wedding industry is the biggest scam industry of
It
all
seems
time.
like
The
it.
most basic shit costs so much money. It's ridiculous. It's outrageous.
It
And
seems
just the
like
little things you
because
gotta follow.
whenever you hear that like the full wedding, like whenever you hear about like $1 million wedding type shit, it's like what the fuck costs $1 million? Like
Right.
Jesus Christ, even if the venue was $100K, what did
Exactly,
you
what
spend
extra?
$900,000 on?
Are
Like,
you giving?
fuck.
Are you giving all your guests $100 grand? Thank you for showing up.
Appreciate you, dog.
Here's a stack. Like,
But I
That's
don't know.
wild.
That's what I'm saying. Is it's like that. It's not just like the wedding industry, but there's certain things where I'm just like, why do we spend so much on aesthetics? You know what I mean?
I feel like it's all just marketing and branding. It's all.
Yeah.
America's just a big capitalist. Like anything you can start a business with, then do it, and then you have good marketing that's gonna stick.
But we are also like, in a way, like brainwashed to want shit like
Yeah.
that, though. You know what I mean? Like once we see a big wedding, you're like, man, I don't know if I want to pay for
Yeah.
it, but that does look like a fun
That's the
time. You know
marketing.
what I mean?
The marketing.
I
The
do want a big
FOMO.
wedding, though. I need all my friends there.
Yeah.
I don't need it, but honestly, if I'm gonna make it a night to remember, why would I spend a bunch of money and not?
I'm not opposed.
Have all my
I'm not
friends.
opposed to like eloping and then doing a big celebration type shit.
Yeah,
That's
I feel
fair.
like that makes
Like-
the most sense.
That's what I'm thinking is like whenever you're talking about the ceremony, I never really got the idea of like your cousin's nephew's fucking sister being there.
I don't
Yeah.
care about that.
You know what I mean? Like it does seem like only the people you really want there should be there, but whenever there's a big wedding, you're like, well, we gotta invite the whole family type shit.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying the whole family shouldn't be there. What I'm saying is that like once you get to that point, it becomes like less about the couple and more about the event, if that makes sense. Where you could just have the ceremony to celebrate the couple's love and then do the celebration after once they go through with the I do shit.
Actually, it was. I mean, you enjoyed it, right?
I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I feel it did fly by though. Like in the day, like when
Oh,
we were
yeah.
walking
Is
at
it
the
true
end, the
that
whole
you don't get
sparkler
to
thing.
eat?
I actually did eat, but it was very hard to eat because I don't know if you remember, but we're sitting at a table like in the center of everything, and that's when everyone's coming up to like hug us. So
Oh.
no one's been able to talk to us the whole time because we're doing the whole ceremony, and then we all walked in, and then after that it was time to eat. Everyone was grabbing plates and they coming like literally everyone there. Yeah, everyone there. It's just a line that doesn't stop. So it's like a bite of my fajita, and then
I
like
remember
getting the hug,
watching you
taking a
just, yeah.
picture. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I did get to eat, but I don't remember much of it. But the day it went by so fast.
Yeah, probably. 'cause
I
you
kind
was
of
drunk.
regretted it. Yeah.
That's probably part of it.
Yeah, when you started 8, 9 in the morning with mimosas.
Like, what? Corey's getting married, dude. That was, I think, the
Bro.
height of all of
Yeah.
them. Just like party.
Shout out to y'all for
So-
making it down the aisle. I was
I-
like, as long as make it
I,
to the
I walked
ceremony.
with your sister Courtney, and I
Yes.
thought that
They told me
and
that
her
they
were
kept you up.
first of all, me and her were beyond high. We were both loaded as shit and drinking. So like I had the thought in the back of my head, like if anyone's gonna fuck this walk up, it's gonna be us, no matter what. Like there's nobody else that has much at risk in during this fucking walk.
Everyone was struggling. All my sisters told me they're like, I had old Carlos up, he almost fell.
Oh, dude, Los did almost fall.
Yeah, well, he took it to another level. He said, "Let me drink a little bit out of the champagne bottle, pour my orange juice into the champagne bottle."
Oh,
So
you did that.
so the champagne bottle was his
champagne bottle
mimosa.
was a
mimosa. I mean, it was like 8-9 bottles in there. Pretty much all had our own bottle before the wedding even started.
That is true.
What a great time.
One for the books.
We had so many good.
Run it back.
Run it back.
It's
Just
like wedding
have an
round
annual, yeah.
to. Now I'm
Maybe
telling you,
in
though,
5 years we'll do it.
just wait. My wedding's about to go crazy.
I'll say.
My wedding's about to. I'm not.
When
gonna,
you said that, it's like an album's dropping.
Yeah.
Just wait, though. It's about to go
Tune in.
crazy.
I remember I made a post. I was like, dude, my wedding's about to be fucking biggest homie festival. All the homies just squatted up, bro. I'm probably gonna have one of the homies DJing, to be real. Homie's probably gonna be the photographer, dude. I like literally just
It will be a homie
squatted up
fest.
and have it for real.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean,
Let's be real. Like, all my friends are doing some shit. What am I gonna pay someone that fucking I don't give a fuck about? That's gonna set the tripod up and put that shit in the corner and be like, yeah,
you might be a professional, but I don't give a fuck about you.
my homie, dude,
Homie
you'll do it for a
fest.
burrito, motherfucker. Fuck you. And your shit. Yeah, no, congratulations, 3 years ago.
Yeah, no, congratulations.
I
Fuck
appreciate
yeah,
that.
dude. Good shit, for sure.
Yeah, we really did that 3 years
Crazy
ago.
though. I mean, shit, we've come a long way. I mean, we were living in. No, we were living in the house. No,
No,
we
no,
weren't.
no,
We
it
weren't
was
even living in the
before.
house
Yeah,
yet when
no,
we
no,
recorded
not
that
yet.
last one.
No.
No,
Oh,
we
wait, when we
weren't.
recorded the last
You
one. I
were-
was going to
yeah.
say for his wedding, we definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say
yeah.
wedding.
But
Yeah, I was gonna say we were at your when we
Red
recorded the
Chances.
last one. Yeah, we were. No, but I mean, like, you were still at your mom's, and I was
yeah.
in Green K, busting it up. Came this far.
Kind of miss not having rent.
Don't we
Nice.
all? Now Corey's in solar, trying to go to the sun.
Trying to go to the.
Go to the
I am
sun.
the sun.
He's selling the sun.
I
dude.
am the sun.
He is, dude. Is selling the sun.
No, solar has really been a journey. There's something in solar
solar
called the
coaster?
solar coaster. Yes, Josh knows it very well, because especially when most solar jobs are you're 100% commission. So
Yeah.
you have your ups and your downs. You might make a huge sale and then you might not make another sale for like 3 months. So you got to be smart with your money as well. Just you get like a big learning to live off a lump sum of money after used to have 3 scheduled payments. I worked at Sprint and T-Mobile for like over 3 years.
So,
So
you
that
get
was
2
two-
checks and then
I
the
get 2
commission
checks and I
check.
get my commission check, but I get to
Mm.
see what my commission check is. I'm building my commission check for the next month. So if I'm having a killer month, I know next month I'm getting paid. Okay, I got $2,500 on the way.
You have an
commission from the month
idea
before.
of what you
Exactly.
can use
So
as
I
your
know
budget.
I know what my base is, and then I know what my extra commission is. And commission was
Mhm.
just all play money for me. So I did
Right.
love that job. Like it's a great job for like when you're in school because it's like
Mhm.
low maintenance. You're working in the AC, got people coming to you. Working in the
Mhm.
cell phone store, like everyone, 90% of people have an iPhone.
Yeah.
What
I
you're
mean,
selling
it's-
is accessories and insurance.
It's not a whole lot of like room to grow in that industry, but it's definitely
Exactly.
a good
That's what I
job
said.
for
It's
like
a good stepping stone job.
Yeah.
Because the pay is good enough, you get base pay and then you get but it's easy to get stuck in that trap and get capped out.
Yeah, you're just like the best thing you can go for there is like sales management.
Yeah, you
and
could be
that's
the
not really
manager, then
that
you're making like
fun.
10-15K more than everyone else. But now you're getting
Now you
shit on.
have
What sucks
so
about
much
being a manager
bullshit to deal
there
with.
is people know where the cell phone store is at and they know if they want a phone. There's only so much I can tell you or text you or call you that's gonna make you come get a phone right now today.
Right.
So when you're a manager, you're getting yelled at, oh, you're only at
Oh, yeah,
15
and-
activations this month. You're
And your
supposed to be
boss
at
doesn't
50.
give a fuck about that.
Of course
your boss
not.
is like, oh, I don't care if your mother died.
Exactly.
Your numbers are down. Brother.
Exactly.
Get it together.
And when you are the boss, you got your boss, district manager,
Yeah.
shitting down your throat for the same shit. So like that's not something I want to get caught up in.
right.
I've seen high turnover in that location right there, 96 by my house. I was there for 3 years. That's the only store I was at, and we had probably 6 or 7 different managers.
Jesus.
What I did, I got a good experience of working for many different management styles because everyone's
Mm.
different in how they choose to manage and playing favoritism, not playing favoritism, all those things. That kind of helped me in my career just to learn how people are when they're in a management role.
what
'Cause
to
obviously-
and what not to do.
Exactly, because it's a hard balance when you're in a management role because you want to be like cool with everybody, but if you're too cool, then they start to like take advantage of you.
You're not
No.
their friend, but you also
Exactly.
don't want to be their enemy.
You got to toe that line. So, solo, I'm not really. I've helped a lot of people, let a lot of people go on ride-alongs with me. Just like get to steal the secret sauce. When you're in the home with somebody, that's what's hard about solar. There is no pause, there is no break, there is no one to lean on. You got to be on your shit in the home, and you're building trust. I'm trying to get you to sign a 40, 50, 60 times $100,000 loan. Same period of me meeting you. You have to have full faith and trust in me that I know what I'm talking about, because you're not going to sign if you.
I will say from my experience of like not just solar salesmen, but salesmen period, you do have your shit together. You're very organized, like from what I was seeing in shadowing you, but also working with you. You're very organized and very punctual about your information, which is refreshing for a salesman, because most salesmen rely on the script, and what if they can't really like mold the conversation back into that script, then they'll just accept the L and get out of the home.
I genuinely I like solar because every day's it is a lot of driving, but you never know who I'm gonna meet. I kind of do enjoy that, and just what's that? Oh, I got you. Just having just conversations with people, because like, you know, they say make a sale, make a friend, make a sale. But, like, you know, just actually getting to learn about people. Like most sales reps going in there, and people get blown up with solar. Like it's like calls, phones, all. Actually going in there and talking with them. So much random stuff you learn about people.
Yeah.
Quick side story. I met this straight meth head guy, like out of it. The first time I knock on this guy's door, I pull up and he has like a little courtyard in front. So like, you know, a little small gate before you actually get to his front door.
Right.
And it looks sketchy. His roof is like ripped up, had busted windows, trash all up in his yard. Like it's bad. It's like, bro, I told myself before I even walked in that, before I knocked on the door, I was like, I'm not going in this man's house. I was like, I'll sell you outside if I even sell you. He opens the door. Older white guy, super long, like nasty, greasy hair, shoulder out of place, swollen, feet swollen, like huge, looked like he had like Hulk-sized feet. This dude had got like beat up. He told me that some people broke in, put him in his own courtyard, put him in a chair, tied him up, pistol whipped him, like beat his ass. I think he's a dealer. I think he's a plug. And or maybe not a good one, and some people found out where he was at. Yeah, but also he told me that this is what like sketched me out. I was thinking about calling the cops. He told me that he saves kids. I asked him like what he does for a living. He's like, I save kids. I was like, what do you mean by save kids? He was like I find them like under highways and like in the forest and stuff, and you know I bring them in my home and like I save them. I take care of them. It was like very, very weird vibe.
That's a weird way to word like. Maybe
Trafficking?
like trying to rehabilitate people.
Yeah.
That's a weird way to word that
Yeah.
because it does sound like trafficking.
Yes, this guy.
But, I mean, like there are people who like will find addicts and like bring them into their home and try to like care for them and do like
Yeah,
rehabilitation.
but this was not that.
I don't think this is that.
This was him
according to
justifying
the-
keeping junkies in his house. And the reason his shit was torn to shit is because he would go find like, you know, young kids that ran away and shit and keep them there and then like let them do drugs there. And they're having like psychotic breaks. And he said one time they like kid got on the roof and he was like ripping all his shingles off and like losing his shit.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I knew after 30 seconds of talking to this man, I'm not going to sell him. But I'm like, I already drove an hour 30 to get here. I'm about to get some conversation. I'm like, I'm about to see how crazy you really are. And I did end up taking a video. It's like a 5-minute video. This man had every lie in the book. He told me that he was married to a multi-billionaire that's running the country. He golfs with Trump on the weekends and what's that, Mar-a-Lago in Florida. He told me that the government is oh no, he had rocks, bro. He had so many.
He's Trump's deal. Maybe he's Trump's
Maybe
coke
he could
dealer.
be the guy living in, I forgot, he was somewhere in some ghetto neighborhood in Houston. But he had these rocks.
Mar-a-Lago?
No, not there, not quite.
How'd you get that lead? I think is
The funny thing is, I'll tell you, I ended up going up to this house twice. I ended up getting this lead again. It circled back to me. But the second time I knew, I was like, I'm not talking to this. But I actually did sign this guy.
Imagine he knocks again, like, look, I'm back.
I knew he was bullshitting, but I signed this guy. He said he was going to pay cash. He told me that he didn't even have his electric bill under his name. I remember getting his mom's number and calling his mom. I signed him just to sign. I'm like, I'm putting numbers on the board. It's a cash deal, so I don't lose anything. Like, there's no one to call. No financier is going to be pissed off for the deal canceling. And if you don't, the first payment's due in like 2 weeks. If you don't pay, then, I mean, I already didn't have a sale, so now I don't. If you miraculously come up with the money to pay for a solar system, then
Sick.
then
But I
awesome.
don't give a fuck.
I'm leaving here with the sale, so it is what it is. But no, this man had rocks, like a whole rock collection, and he swears that they were like alien rocks, and him and his little I don't know, people that lived in his house. I don't say boys or whatever. They would,
posse.
they would go rock searching, and he showed me rocks for like a good 20 minutes. And he had some cool looking rocks, but he was, I was like, he had some cool looking rocks. But,
I'm honestly
but
surprised
he was convinced they were
that
from the
you
moon and shit.
spent 20 minutes with him.
I spent
if
probably
not
a good
more.
30 with him.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, just chilling in his courtyard, just picking his brain, just because he was so interesting. I think he was a
Yeah.
schizophrenic, but also like heavy on the drugs.
Most
Yeah, the
schizophrenics
drugs
are,
will
though.
do
Yeah.
that. The
Yeah.
drugs will induce schizophrenia
But just-
at a
Yeah,
certain
but like
point.
schizophrenia, like BPD, those people actually tend to lean more towards drugs.
Well,
It's weird.
No, I could
get
definitely
that,
tell.
actually.
He told me that like aliens watch him at night. If I stay there, he told me if you stay here till it gets dark tonight and you look up in the sky, there's gonna be 3 distinct alien ships that watch me. And then he said if I hop in my truck right now and I go, there's gonna be 8 or 9 undercover FBI agents like coming to watch me. Like, this guy was
What if it's all true?
completely.
What if it's all true though? Like, what if he was telling
thought
the,
about
the
it, but
absolute truth?
He was saying some crazy shit.
some stupid
He-
crazy shit.
some crazy shit.
I
Bro.
mean,
He
just
told
said-
me
he
he
said he
admitted-
goes to jump on the
No,
weekends.
I have
You
the
don't know what he
video.
does on the weekends.
I have the video. He said, "You know what this is?" And he pointed at the ground. I was like, "The concrete." He was like, "Yeah, I invented that." Like, he's like, "My family invented." His last name was Barrett. His name was Robert Barrett. He also told me that
I
his.
don't know if we should say that.
He's on that.
Fuck
It's
it.
fine.
He's already on the FBI.
Yeah,
list.
he's
I don't
already-
know if we're
he's-
putting any extra.
He's up there. I'm saying, but he was
juice on
telling me
his
that
name.
it was his grandpa that like created the Barrett 50 cal. And I was like, that might be the only thing maybe
that
slightly,
could work.
slightly
I don't know.
true.
I've never
But
heard of
when
Barrett concrete.
I have it
though.
on video, I turned on my video and I just put my phone in my pocket because I was just trying to get all the shit he was saying captured. And then you could just hear me say, concrete? He was like, you see this right here? And I was like, what, this? And I stopped like, concrete? It's like, yeah, I invented that. I was like, what the? No, this man was like off his fucking right.
That's hilarious. See, I've met some pretty interesting people from doing solar. Never that interesting.
He was the
Never
most. That was the most
crazy.
extreme case.
The most interesting people I met was this dude who was a lawyer, but he worked in specifically music law. So he wrote contracts and all different types of like all the business side of music. Like you there's like, I don't know if you know about this now because you're kind of diving into like sound and stuff like that. But there's like a whole. I didn't even really understand it whenever he was explaining it to me, but it makes sense on the back end of how like those contracts and stuff that are written up by the labels and stuff. Like you have lawyers that do that. I always just assume that it's like just a civil like lawsuit lawyer type shit that just like
No.
it gets
Yeah,
hired on
specific
to do
music
that.
law,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Music business is a whole thing.
I'd never
Yeah.
before this conversation with this guy, I had never realized that there are like lawyers that specialize in specifically just writing up contracts for like entertainment business and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I didn't realize that was a thing. I just always thought that these companies would get like a generalized lawyer to come in and just do it. You know what I mean? But whenever he was telling me about it, like he was telling me like obviously he could have been lying. He had no reason to be lying because I mean he actually was able to provide evidence for a lot of the things he was saying. But something that he was saying was like, yeah, I've been in the room with like Kanye West before. What's the bitch that did the photography? Lady Gaga. Sorry.
What the fuck does he know about cameras?
But like a bunch of like top music producers and artists and stuff like been in the room with them. Obviously, writing up their contracts and shit. It's not like he's
buddy or anything.
right. Yeah, but
He's
but
worked. He's
still,
bumped
but
shoulders
still,
with
to,
these
like,
people. Yeah.
to have him like kind of give me like a prognosis of like what his experiences were with those people and like in that industry. That was the initial part of that crazy encounter. After the first like 45 minutes, like of us talking back and forth, him giving me a couple stories, me educating him on solar a little bit. He was like, honestly, man, I'm not gonna sign today. I might sign on like in the future. I'm not really not that interested, and the numbers don't really look that good. But if you want to hang out, we can. And like, I'm talking about, dude had a full bar. He had like one of those fucking projector screens like with the golf shit, like where you swing and it like goes like on the golf shit. He had like a whole sports memorabilia thing. He had a full restroom with like decked like thousands of dollars worth of Beatles memorabilia type shit. Like it
He's
was
plugged in.
It was one of the craziest houses. Like I was like, I don't care if I'm not getting a sale. I'm down to hang out. Let's do it. So we just started drinking. I canceled my later appointment. I was just like going for it. I'm like, fuck it, dude. This is fun.
It's dope.
Insane. And both of those on a different spectrum.
I'll say
Crazy.
solar will
different.
take you. It's a solar coaster.
Roller coaster. Both of those sales didn't go through. It's fine.
I got a couple. My manager just got a sale yesterday. This guy, 20 years, was in prison for 20 years. Said it was the most scary and sketchy sale he's ever gotten. Made some bread off of it too. But,
That's crazy.
Yeah, but we were all like laughing and shit. And he's like, y'all want to be laughing if y'all know what he got out of prison for. It was like murder and aggravated sexual assault of like an 11-year-old. He's like, he told me that within the first 30 seconds. I was like, bruh.
What?
Still got the sale. I was like, charge the fuck out of them because he deserves it.
But fuck.
But yeah, you're sitting across the table and you're in their home.
Yeah.
Like, and my manager's a big ass
Did
dude.
you rehabilitate?
So,
Yeah. Is everything fine now?
I don't care how big you are. If you're sitting across from a murderer, that's just a
Absolutely.
different person.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Built different.
There is something different about like knowing that too. Like I mean, I'm sure with how prevalent murder is in our society, you probably are sitting across from a murderer
More than you know.
More than you know. Yeah, absolutely. So like,
but to know.
there is something about knowing it that makes it like that much more creepy.
This man
like,
killed
weird,
someone, and now I'm gonna sell him solar panels.
Right.
Stuff though, I'd be like, I think I'm gonna come back. You know, actually, I got the wrong. You know, you got the right house. No.
No.
And then they're like, what'd you just say? Actually, I just was the right house.
This is the right house, but it's like 100,000.
Y'all know the like the Mexican meat market stores? They're like yellow. You know,
La
like,
Michoacan.
yes, I met the guy that owns all of those.
Really?
Yes, he lives in Houston.
I met the guy that owns all of the Houston area Taco Bell, Wendy's, and Popeyes.
shit.
Like
He's
it's
bread
like
it
one
up,
guy
yeah.
that owns all.
Like,
of
has
those
them all
locations.
franchised?
Yeah, he
That's
has them all
wild.
franchised.
Yeah.
But it's like Wendy's, Taco Bell, Popeyes, and I think a couple Jack in the Boxes.
When you drive through Houston, you realize how many fast food places there are. You can go 5 minutes
Every
and there's
corner.
another one on there. It's like, how much money are they actually?
It's. I mean, you gotta think that because it's so spread out, it's not that much. You gotta think that like there's only a certain amount of people. I'm not saying not that much. What I'm saying is
They're making money.
Yeah, I think it's a lot. Yeah.
Oh, that guy's making a fuck ton. No, yeah. I thought you meant like each individual location. I was gonna say it's probably not as much as you might think with how many how saturated the market is with fast
fuck ton of
food.
people in Houston. Though.
Yeah.
There is, but there's also there's like at least 10 McDonald's in fucking one zip code.
Yeah.
Each one is franchised by different people.
Yeah. I mean,
Usually.
shit, we got 2 right here within 5 miles of each other. Not even, probably like 3.
Dude, if you were talking about gas stations, there's a Shell on either corner of the same street. There's a Shell
Competition,
here,
man.
and across the street there's a separate Shell. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's what franchising will do.
Well, now sales definitely builds character though. I feel like because you gotta get denied a lot.
It does, bro. Rejection is the name of the game in sales. Go. Yeah.
Of averages.
Worst part is living in Houston is we have some of the longest drive times, like in solar. Especially I live on the south side. 90% of my appointments are like Katy, Spring, or further. Driving an hour 30, and if it's not a good set appointment, that could be an hour 30 or 2 hours waiting in traffic just for someone to say, "Oh no, I rescheduled."
You have
Or
a
not
central
even be home.
location? Do you have like a shop y'all go to?
We have a warehouse now.
Oh, really?
We have a warehouse and an office.
Oh shit.
Do you drive there
but
first?
yeah,
or
it's
you
like
drive-
it's like an hour away though.
Do you drive to the?
I don't go. We meet like twice a week. If I don't have to be there, but if I want an office or, so we used to have this badass office at Galleria. It was like on the 20th floor, had a corner view. Badass.
Isn't it crazy? Though? Like honestly, solar is a big market, but I feel like it's just another pyramid scheme. There's so many.
Well, people are just used to pyramid schemes at this
Yeah,
point.
no, solar is probably like the best. I would say if you have sales, best right now, just because it's like recession proof. Because your electric bills are going to continue to get higher, especially times, and you're locking in like just a lower rate with solar. As long as you qualify, like I truly
Yeah, no.
makes sense.
Think about this, especially with like the heat right now. That's beaming,
Oh
dude.
yeah, Texas
Hey,
in the
but guess
summer.
what? Guess what? That shit's helping your solar.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Oh,
if you're
for sure.
fucking-
Well, yes and no. Just depends on how you look at it. right now is like it's the best time to sell, but it's also like if you don't sell now, you're fucked because the rest of the year is about to it's gonna die down.
Yeah, this is
especially
the
once you
best
get
time.
into like what is
Winter
it, like
time.
November?
Yeah.
November is when it starts like super dead.
I didn't really work from November and probably
January,
February.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, which is nice. Though.
That's
You
the
know, if you
thing,
make a
it's
couple
just
nice
like-
sales, you can just kind of feel.
That's what he was talking about
Coast.
earlier. Is like once you're on that like income schedule where you don't know when your next check is coming, when you don't know when the next sale is, and you have to kind of live off of the lump sum that you created to this point. That has an expiration date because there is a certain point where people's electric bills go back down. They're like, I don't need solar. My shit's low. Well, how can you save me money? I'm already paying da 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 da.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That
So, like,
pain's
I
not
have
there.
That incentive is gone. So now you're
Now you
really
Now you
hoping
gotta say,
that they
pull up your
trust you.
bill, look at June, July, and August, and now feel this pain of when you're paying, you know, $300, $400, $500 electric bill.
You want to pay that again next year. That's the only argument that you
Yeah.
have.
Some people are like, my bill was $70 last month. Not gonna make sense.
Well, I guess that's all we have today, sir.
Well, what he's saying, that number in the bank account, though, the summertime is good, but you don't, just because you have a certain number in the bank account, there's no guaranteed extra money coming back on top of that.
Right.
You view that money a lot different. Like, if I get hurt or something, if it happens, like, that money only dwindles. I don't have any other income coming back in. So I'm trying to just keep doing my solar shit for now and then, like, start a side business, get other streams.
That's been like something I've been trying to focus on recently because I have, without explaining it too much, I have pretty much stopped my other sources of income outside of my job.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to like adjust to just having one income and trying to build out having separate incomes, if that makes sense, in different ways than I am used to.
How do you think that's fueled your mentality though, in terms of just famine? Really, like serving.
Oh, 100%. So I set myself up because I was sick of T-Mobile. I was like, I have my degree. I know I'm not gonna like stay here. I was looking for like a way out. And I told myself two things. I'd never do a 100% commission job, and I'd never knock doors. And I ended up doing exactly that. But the reason is because I learned that's where you're going to get paid your work. Because I hated working at T-Mobile. We had this one coworker, I'm not going to say her name, but she was just lazy. She like just never wanted to work. And it's because like we're getting paid the same. You know, whether I'm busting my ass and doing the most I can and you're doing the least, we're getting paid the same. So in 100% commission role is like, if I fail, then like we're not gonna be able to eat next, and we're not gonna be able to pay bills, and we're not gonna be able to withhold like a certain type of lifestyle. Like my lifestyle is going to depend on my performance in this job, and am I not going to live my lifestyle? That's kind of how it's like fueled my mentality just to stay, like, obviously, like I said, solar coaster, you're going to have your ups and your downs, but like that's kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. Like if you don't perform, then we're not eating.
It's on you.
Yeah, exactly. It's 100% on you. And the success is there. What's a blessing and a curse is my manager is phenomenal at what he does. And I see him, every day he's putting up sales, making all this crazy money, lives a super crazy, like flamboyant lifestyle, drives an Audi R8, like staying like, I don't want to get into all his details, but like I see that it's possible. It's like
What's
so
his
close. And the social is no, it's cool. And it's like, so when I'm feeling good, when I'm in like at the top of the solar coaster, I'm like, bet that's like what I'm aspiring to be because I see it. I see that it's possible and attainable. But when I'm feeling down, it's like, damn, he's doing all this and I'm not doing it. Which is definitely, I guess it's good at the end of the day because no matter what, that could pull you out the low and. Like,
yeah,
it is very possible.
It is nice to have that like that inspiration in front of you, but it does go like kind of tie back into what you're saying in the way that you don't have to do any extra work other than the shit that you are going to be benefiting from, if that makes sense. So like kind of like what you're saying about that girl that you work with. It's like we're getting paid the same and I'm doing extra work. In this way, it's like I'm not getting paid unless I do extra work.
Exactly. So you can be comfortable with what you want to be comfortable with. It's like I know my manager's doing all the extra shit, all the little shit, but that's what's really gonna make you better at your job at the end of the day and just be more successful. But it's also when you're the boss of yourself, it's so easy to just sit and say, I'm not gonna make that extra call today. I'm not gonna go knock that door. Or
it kind of like
so
gives you a new respect for like business owners that still show up every day because it's like. They are the only person that is going to reap the not the benefits, but they're gonna see the penalties
Exactly.
for
If they
not
don't.
showing up.
Yeah.
But they could easily just close down for the day.
Exactly.
It would just mean they don't have the business for that day. Maybe it looks a little bad.
Those
but
little things are gonna
they
add
would
up.
survive.
Yeah.
But that kind of is like crazy how many people don't do that shit. You know,
And
what I mean?
100% commission. That's exactly what it. I am my own business within.
Yeah.
I'm just going. I don't even wear like any branded stuff. Like I just go into people's house, just like dress nicely. And it's like I'm selling me because if you don't like me, you're not buying. It doesn't matter if I give you the system for free right now. You're not gonna sign with me unless you like me.
Right.
So that's the first battle. As soon as you pull up in the driveway, because everyone has a Ring camera, like that's when it starts.
Mm.
So with that
just
being
being on
said,
point.
Do you think like from there, like kind of like knowing that you're selling yourself and like being you? Do you think like going
Not a
from there, 'cause
prostitute, by the way.
No, he is.
Yeah, he is. He's pretty easy
Depends
too.
on the
actually.
If I'm having a
customer.
bad month and I'm not hitting my quotas, then it'd be.
It
know,
is feast
gotta
or
do what you
famine,
gotta
so
do.
you may need to give him a call.
He
pretty soon.
prefers male customers, if you know what I mean.
If you have a back room, hole in the wall.
Do you think like going from here, because you said you want to find a side hustle?
Yeah.
What are some skills and traits you really think that you've taken from this? Like something that you've really learned, like deep. Like, do you think there's any lessons you really kind of learned about yourself, or like anything learned about life?
Learned a
going through
lot
this?
about myself. Solar. Learned that not as money motivated as I thought I would.
That's like most sales, I feel like.
I'm motivated by the lifestyle I'm able to live. So as long as I have like X amount, like I'm uncomfortable. I'm almost uncomfortable with being as successful as I want to be in my head, if that makes sense. Because like I just know that's gonna come with a whole nother list of problems and extra things to do with that money. As bad as that sounds.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know if it
mean,
makes sense.
I think of it in like I think at that a lot, but like in a different sense. So I see what my goals are and like where I want to be, and it does make me uncomfortable knowing all the sacrifices and the work it's going to take to put into that to actually achieve those goals and to reach that. And but it goes back to also what we were saying. You're looking at 5 years or 10 years,
Yeah.
putting in all
Start
this
now.
work. Yeah, right. And I think with sales too, it's tough because you are seeing some of those big hitting sales, but then there are those
Slow months.
those defeating ass, grueling ass months where you're fucking talking to people and they don't want to hear it, and you're going because you are going door to door most of the time.
Many
and then-
different ways, but yeah.
Because also, I mean, so for all of you that don't know, they get leads sometimes. Some things that they picked up, or they give them hints at some people that
Like
may
a
want
call
to buy
center,
solar.
we have people that go knock doors. We purchase leads. We got a couple of different ways.
But yeah, then also at some point, if you want to make, you want to go the extra mile, you want to get those sales.
Yeah, no matter what.
You want to go knock those
you
doors.
get paid
on your
more
own.
anytime that you generate it yourself because appreciate it. Yeah, you typically in any sales role, if you're getting the clientele, that's money the company's not spending on that advertising to get you that appointment. So you get paid a lot more. Like
Because if you think about it, it's like they're paying not just a scheduling department, not just a field marketing department, but also they're doing their own marketing like online and shit like that. So they have all these different like avenues plus buying leads.
Yeah.
So they have all these different avenues to spend on finding new customers. So you, an employee, finding them a new customer means they didn't have to spend that money.
Yeah.
So they're willing to give that money to you as the employee, basically. So that's just the higher structure on the commission.
Yeah. So where would you see yourself though, like with those, like kind of learning this stuff, learning
with
about
other
yourself,
side hustles?
Yeah, like what would you see yourself like really putting your efforts into? Because like with any sales, I think for me, because I actually been talking to somebody, he's doing like logistics right now, and eventually he's gonna be doing sales, but it's for his friend. It's gonna be his friend's company. They're developing a software, but his job eventually is gonna be having to sell that software to people and make them like want to buy it. But right now he's doing logistics for the company because his friend owns a company just right now where he's doing logistics for it. He's learning
All the
learning.
ropes of all.
Yeah, so that way when it comes to selling the software, he already has understanding of
good.
it, and then he could sell it. So with that being said, is there anything that you think from here like you would really just you kind of want to put your efforts into? Because I think with sales, you're able to kind
it's
of grasp a
open-minded.
hold of your strengths, and
Yeah.
see your
No, I agree.
weaknesses a lot.
I agree. No, it's opened my eyes to a lot of things. Like I could probably start a solar company. I have a lot of contacts, but I don't think for me to do something, I'm gonna have to throw my all into it. The only thing I could really see myself, it had to be later in life. Fortunately, hit the lottery or something. But I'd like to like own my own basketball court, like basketball emporium. Like I want, like I know slam ball just came back.
That's sick, dude.
So
Oh,
like
yes.
a slam ball court.
Do people
Or
love
two.
pickleball?
Exactly.
I fucking
I
love
could even add a
pickleball.
pickleball court on there, but just like pretty much a whole like basketball one-stop shop. I know there's a ton of kids, especially here in Houston. I could just like drop one of those centers, have like just a regular, maybe like 2 courts just to hoop. But then I don't know if y'all seen, there's another type of basketball court. It's not a trampoline, but it's like a bouncy floor, kind of like maybe like a gymnastic floor. That looks like so much fun.
I
Like,
have seen
wanna
that.
do that.
The thing that I would say about that, like just initially hearing you mention that, my advice would be to just start small.
Yeah.
Just like start recording yourself going to hoop, start posting stuff about basketball, gain a following around around basketball, and find people that you know or want to know you, and use that as your base, your customer base for whenever you do launch that business, because like the worst case scenario is you have 100 friends that back you whenever you start it. You know what I mean? Best case scenario is you starting it now gains the capital for the business to start itself. And so like that's something that I want to probably take my own advice on. But
no, it is good advice.
But it has been something I've been thinking about recently, is that kind of the conversation about time that we were having earlier. It's like the moment you put that foot in front of the other, it's like eventually you're going to be rolling somewhere. Yeah. And
That's a bit of
especially if you know the destination you want to get to, it's much easier to get there because you can lay out the path for yourself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a blueprint that you stick to 100%, but
Just
having a
starting.
mold that you want to go after is something beautiful.
And the way I see it is like, so for in sales in general, you know, I mean, if you want to eventually like escalate in anything, it does, you know, a lot of people end up going into pharmaceuticals, selling pharmaceuticals. You know, money is gonna be crazy. You're selling a lot of fucked up shit in that.
Well, no,
Yeah.
if you're good at sales,
some
and
integrity there.
pharmaceutical is just easy money, because you don't have to have the guilt or integrity, because you can tell yourself that there's a person on the other end of this that has a doctor prescribing type shit. So you can tell yourself like, I don't have any guilt or any like I'm not doing anything immoral. I'm just providing the thing that the person is. It's kind of like selling a phone at that point. You know what I mean? They got to get it from somewhere. Might as well be you.
With that being said, you know, you're putting in all this work and all this time to really like develop and sharpen your skills in order to, you know, sell whatever the next thing is to sell, to make whatever's going to make you the most money. You know, for most salesmen, it's like, hey, have you heard of this industry? The profit margin's going to be crazy. So why not? You know, in my head, it's always, if you have those skills already and you kind of have that discipline of what it takes to really be a good salesman. And I think going back to what he said you were always really organized and you were never a person that just was, hey, I'll fall back on the script.
I'll say the difference is I don't really even see myself as a salesman. I typically don't really like salesmen because they're pushy. I truly think solar, like 9 times out of 10, I could actually help you save money, and that's kind of like goal. Like I'm a people pleaser #1, and I feel like I have the salesman qualities and skills.
Point. It's a bit of a talking. It can sound like a talking point, but it is real. It's like you don't want to be a salesman. You do want to be a consultant. I'm not here to sell you anything. I give you information about something that I think you could benefit from.
Which is
and
true.
if you qualify for it, then there should be zero reasoning that you would not benefit from.
And
it.
I'm the guy you should go with.
Right. So that's the thing. Is it's like. It does sound like a talking point. I'm not a salesman. I'm just here to be a friend and give you some information that you should have as a
But when you say that genuinely and in someone's house,
Right.
usually when I get to sell, I'm spending at least 2 hours with you. So it's very hard to fake who you are in a 2-hour period. I mean, I guess some people can, but like being genuine, it seeps through with people. Like, you know, when you meet people, you could tell like your radar, your spidey sense will go off if they're kind of like, oh, that's an iffy or sketchy person, or like, oh, that guy's cool. That's something that I could like kind of believe in or trust in.
I kind of like the idea. It was a joke, but Steve Harvey said one time, he was just like, men have three truths. There's the thing they think you want to know. There's there's 3 truths. It's like they gonna tell you first. They gonna lie to you. They gonna say, this is what I think you want me to say. The second thing is this is what I think I gotta say for me not to get in trouble. And the third thing is, this is the truth. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like how it is, even like whenever nobody's in trouble. It's like, this is what I think you want to hear. This is what I'm going to say to keep the conversation going. This is how I really feel. You know what I mean? It's like those 3 things, you kind of got to pull those layers back. You got to deal with the first 2 to get to the real shit. You know what I mean?
Well, sometimes it depends. Yeah,
Usually-
it's
usually.
Depends. Sometimes you'll walk in, it's a lay down. Like that's what's so cool about the job is that it's different every single day. Like until I knock on that door, I don't know who I'm dealing with, who I'm meeting.
Laydowns are
like,
fun though.
Laydowns are the best.
With that being said, though, I think having that skill set for anybody out there too. Once you kind of develop those skills of who you are and you, like what you're capable of, and going through those lows and highs, then you're capable of doing that in any industry.
Yeah,
that
that's
you-
what I'm
Not like
saying.
any, but like once you have an,
No, but-
solar, so
Yeah.
you're able to like really
Exactly, but I'm a person, like I said, I don't really see myself as a salesman. I see myself as someone that it's all about mindset. Like if I put myself in the mindset of a salesman, I can do the job. Like I feel like if I wanted to do something else and not be in sales, like I could apply the same things, the same ethics towards that different craft or different industry and do the same thing. But I feel like sales matches up the best with like who I am naturally, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so
That
what-
does make sense.
But I could
because-
apply that to any other thing, and I feel like anyone can. Like it's all about your mentality. Like if you want to go
because
do
what you're
something, just
saying
start.
is
Like we've been
that,
saying.
like, you're not selling anything. You're selling yourself, and obviously, like in the best way possible. But that extrapolated, it's like you're not a salesman. What you are is just in tune with who you are, and you're able to
Try to be.
express that better than most.
It
if
has
that
helped me
makes
to learn
sense.
who I am over the last 2.5 years of being a.
Right.
But also, I feel like I kind of did all the right things. Like I've always been in some kind of sales. Like I've been at Nike as a sales rep, so I'm not really selling anything. But now that's like a complete customer service role. Like I'm helping you
Right.
find your shoes, find your size. Okay, now I move up to T-Mobile. Now you know the phone you want, but I'm kind of selling you this. And then
Right.
now I'm selling you the case and the screen protector. So I kind of like got baby stepped into like the full sales role.
Right.
Now it's like,
Not to
okay, you don't know
mention-
me at all. I'm knocking on your door. I need you to sign the $70,000
Not to
loan
mention your
today.
business degree.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I always
So-
gloss over that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
School was just like I didn't even walk. Like we both
mean, but
it wasn't
I
2020.
didn't walk, and
but-
but I went to a community college,
Yeah.
so
I mean, I say college is college. Like my first 2 years at Texas State, I easily could have learned right down the street at Com. But we paid for an experience, and I don't regret it because I had an awesome time. But
Mm.
2 years there, I took the same classes I would have taken in a community. So if you have the
Right.
opportunity, I would say definitely. But if you can get away, get out of your town, and because
I
like I
think-
ended up coming back.
I
But not
think
everyone
we've had the
does.
conversation of college before, and I do think college is a scam for everything
These days.
outside of like medical or
Yeah.
maybe like law,
Especially these days with
even
AI
stuff like
shit.
architecture and stuff like that, like where you like kind of gotta be there
Yeah.
type shit. I get that, but there's a lot of shit where it's like, one, I don't know if you're actually teaching anything other than just reviewing things that other people have been successful with. Like, my thing is how is art history a degree?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like it's
because
also
all
on
that
you.
really is you learning about what other people have done in the past. It's not, you're not really learning how to create art.
Some of it you are, yeah.
I mean, not really though. What you're realistically doing is kind of learning about other people's arts and different like tactics and how to do it.
I
And
think
you can
art's a
apply-
degree. I don't think you can get art.
You can get an art history degree.
You can get a degree in
You can
almost
get a
anything
degree in
because
almost anything.
there's
You can
no
get a
one.
degree
They
in
will
dance
gladly take
history.
your money, but the whole system's already predatory. They're taking kids fresh out of high school that no one knows what they want to be, and if you do, then you'll probably change. But now you're signing on for a loan, government loan. That's the only thing you can't go bankrupt from. You're scooping up young kids and then trapping them in debt from
Is
the
it
start. Like,
controversial to think that college is like akin to like the army?
it's a version
You
of the
know,
army. That's the
it's-
army for smart kids.
It's,
Like,
it's a well. I mean,
not gonna say you're
maybe
dumb
not
if you
even
go to the-
smart. Maybe not even smart kids because like the kids going to the army maybe maybe they're not in the top of their class or
Yeah.
anything like that. But
I'm saying
also-
sometimes
they
when you go to the
also,
army, you
4
don't have any
years
other
later-
options. I didn't mean to say smart, but like if you're out of options.
What I was gonna say is that like the person that goes to the army, theoretically, if they make it through without fucking getting their head blown off or
Yeah.
anything like that, might be the smarter person because they don't have $150,000 worth
Exactly.
of student
Yeah, I
loans.
think go to school for
I-
free.
And
I
they can go to
respect-
school for free. So like, I mean, theoretically, like whether they didn't have the options or not, they probably made the better decision. But like, we look at Army and Marines and going into high schools, we look at that kind of like, what, like leave the kids alone. Like you don't need to be like enticing kids. But we don't think about that for college. We think about college as a higher education.
they
Like
tell
you
you-
gotta be doing this. You gotta push towards this higher education. It's like that's not even half the time. That's not even half of the fucking population of college kids are actually getting a higher education.
But I think the thing is, I mean, life is whatever you
Experience.
want. Like,
Experience.
it's
That's
the
where
higher
that's what
education.
it's all at.
A lot of us aren't really. Think about it. You probably learned more going door to door to sales than you did.
I would say I'd say most degrees now you can Google, or even with AI, like it's gonna make most things, except for the things you said, like you have to be there for.
The intangible is the professor's experience.
Yes.
That's the only.
I've had some
intangible
good
is just
professors that like I still like could reference.
the
to this day.
information is the information, and you could get it just by buying the textbook. You don't have to be a student out of
Exactly.
college to buy a textbook.
Exactly.
You
The
can
knowledge
buy
is
it
there, but the
wherever.
experience of who's giving you that knowledge
Right.
is different. I would say the biggest thing college helped me with is like I feel like anything I learned, especially with the business degree, you easily could Google.
Yes.
But what you can't always Google is a lot of like the team meeting things and having to like actual like be adherent to a schedule when you know you don't want to, having to go to that class, having to
Like
submit
role
this at this
play
time,
and shit like
having
that.
a role play, having to do like just learn in a group with other people, because that's the real world and that's the experience. You're gonna have a shithead on your team
That
that's
is
not
true.
gonna
I mean,
do their part of the assignment. Like
I think I recently talked to him about this on one of our recent episodes, but the like a correlation to that is like the main dentist that we have is like he was talking to us about how like a lot of people have dental anxiety because the people that they go to for their dentist is someone that top of their class, made it all the way through school, never got anything but an A. Their record is pristine. They have every single like recommendation letter under the sun. But that's all they did.
Socially awkward.
They're socially awkward. They don't know how to deal with people. They don't know how to talk to people.
they're accomplished,
so
but they don't like just like
they-
maxing out your stat in, like one thing.
Right,
like
right,
you
right,
maxed
right.
out speed on 2K, but
so it's like
catching a jumper.
they don't have the thing that makes the information they have tangible to
or
other
valuable.
people.
Yeah, because sometimes if
Valuable,
you're so
yeah.
like, just up there with it, then can't
That's what I'm
relate it
saying.
to other people.
To a degree, it's like if you can't relate this information to another person, there becomes a point. It's not
Too smart
It's
for your
not
own
that
good.
you hit that point, but there becomes a point where you having that information almost means nothing because you can't express it properly. If that makes sense.
What does it make if you can't share it with others? Like you're smart, but
or
how's
utilize it.
that's benefiting you, but only you.
Honestly, it's weird. I've been thinking this out. So, after I read this book, there's like a part where it talks about it's like, honestly, living like your best life is life of like
Yeah,
not like
heard that
serving,
too.
not like serving like tables,
No.
like just serving like like the world.
Service.
Yeah, service. You know what I mean? It's like you giving your all into something and like being able to like really like make something out of what you're doing and impact others. You know,
Right.
and it's like you could have a dentist who's really good at their job, but they fucking are ruining people's days.
Yeah.
Right.
You go in like I fucking hate my dentist.
Or not even just days, dude. Like that's the thing is like that's something that I've learned about in this job is like dental anxiety is wild. Like some people have trauma. Like not just I had a bad experience today. This is like I cannot go back to a dentist ever. There are people that walk in that like are shaking from past experiences with other dentists type shit. Like
What are these dentists doing?
there's this one lady that has to have nitrous, like the laughing gas, every time for cleanings. For
Just
just
for
like
basic
for
shit.
just basic like super basic, just because she had such a traumatic experience whenever she was a child type shit. So like I've become like almost aware of shit that I didn't even realize was possible. You know what I mean? Like I've understood that anxiety and like trauma can be what's the word I'm looking for? It can be triggered, but I haven't experienced it to that level. You know what I mean? I guess I always think that trauma has to be akin to like some
Extra
some
negative
bleeding or somebody getting like sexually harassed or something like, you know what I mean? I guess I have a lack of appreciation for what events can cause trauma. You know what I mean?
But yeah, no, I think like in that sense though, you could be really good at whatever you do, I guess. But at the end of the day, it almost is not the same if you're like not kind of impacting your community. I don't know. I guess that's a weird way to put it, but it's like
no, your
you're
main
selling
point was like you said it's of service. So I feel like if you hit the lottery, if money wasn't an issue whatsoever, like what would you do with that money? I feel like I would end up doing some kind of service with it. Like okay, I don't have to worry about money, so what am I gonna do with this bread? Like make someone else's life easy or make
It's
people.
Bill Burr's argument where it's like they're like, Bill, like you've already made all this money, like what are you gonna do? It's like when you retire, it's like, what do you mean retire? They're like, well, I mean, you don't have to work anymore. It's like, Yeah, but
What else am I gonna
what
do?
the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
What would
You
I
sure that was Bill
do?
Burr? I know that they did that.
Pretty sure it was Bill Burr.
No. That was Seinfeld.
Mm,
They like came up to Seinfeld on the street, like he was still like.
Was it
doing,
Seinfeld?
Yeah, for sure.
okay, I'll take it. But either way, regardless, my point is that like that point is strong, where it's like there isn't a end point. The destination doesn't realistically exist. Like you can get to having all the money and everything situated, but that you still gotta wake up tomorrow.
Never
You still
gonna
have
be
to
happy.
fill your day. Like you can't. There's only so many days you can have a margarita by the fucking beach. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I forgot who said that. Was
I've
somebody else.
heard that one too.
But there's only so many days you can have a margarita by the beach, and like eventually you're gonna want something different, and eventually you realize the only things that matter is the giving back, is the making someone else smile. It's not about you; it's about what you can do.
Impact.
But I heard somebody else talking about it. It's like the people that don't have like that one person in their life or multiple people that they give back to, that they serve. Those people will have like, I feel, a distorted perception of reality in the way that like it can be very easy to get like delved into your own shit. And once you kind of escape your own shit and give back to another person, you kind of realize how small the shit you're dealing with actually is. You know what I mean? But without that, you're just living in it.
Yeah.
Without that, you never realize.
Gives you
how
perspective.
small.
And once you have perspective, you can be like, damn, well, if they're still doing this, this, and this, they're dealing with all that. Now you understand what they're dealing with, and still, like, I commend anyone, especially single moms, anyone with kids. Like, I saw Robbie recently, and I was like, bruh, like, his life is, you know, he's a shift worker. He has 2 kids, amazing wife. Like, Trent is a hell of a mom, but like, still, like, that's just so much. So, like, you still have your regular life things to deal with, and then you come home and got 2 kids and a wife to deal with.
I can't. I don't get it.
That's that's a lot, and that you can't turn that off. You can't pause that. Like, that is your life, and that's what you're in. I feel like I've been.
There's no opt out.
Yeah,
There's no exit.
I feel like I've
button.
taken calculated steps in my life. Like, when you can, obviously things happen, but to put myself in a position like I can't. I mean, I guess I would be there if I was there right now. Just physically, me, like, that didn't seem fun to me right now.
No,
like,
fuck no.
Like, people, we often get
babysitting doesn't seem fun.
We've been
Like,
married 3
baby
years.
having?
Right, baby having. No, we've been married 3 years, and often, anytime we talk to anyone older than us, yeah, have kids yet? When you gonna have kids? Like, I have that conversation so often. I'm like, when I'm ready. Like,
Real
no,
shit,
it
though.
does not sound like. Why would you want me to have a kid right now if I don't even feel like, number one, I could take care of the kid, but I don't want to take care of a kid right now.
I think that's a lot of like people putting their wants on
That's
you.
what me and
It's
Chris have
like,
that talk often.
I don't have a wife, but if I did, then I would have kids right now.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm saying,
well,
what is
that's
their
your perspective?
What is their that person's motive for wanting you to have kids? They want you to be in the same fucking mode they're in, because you're not gonna love the kid like I'm gonna love the kid, and you're not gonna come and watch the kid. Like, you just want to see what us 2 humans could make, and they're like, oh, good job, you have a kid.
Basically,
If you meet someone that has kids, you're like, hey, you have any kids? They're like, yeah, I have 2 kids. This is my boy. This is my girl. This is what it is. And you're like, oh, that's cool. And like,
sick, dude.
like,
Hell yeah.
But if they didn't have kids, you're like, oh, you should have kids, and then it'd be the same thing. They're showing you their kids, and then that's it. It's like, what's the value of you telling me to have
That's
kids
all the
for
people
no
they
reason?
you want to see? No, I don't. I actually don't.
Like,
No
let me
offense,
share
I
my
don't
kids.
want to see your kids.
Which
like,
I get
not
it.
even-
Congrats, you spat a human out.
Congrats on the sex.
I think it's too easy, bro. I think it's too easy. Like,
No,
sex
yeah.
shouldn't cause children. Like, it
That's
should
a
be
good
something
point.
else.
That is a good point. It's like having a kid is
too
so easy that it's like, why do we kind of parade it
It's
around
such a huge
like
deal.
It's like it's an this is not to say that childbirth is easy. I get that shit's hard. I get that being pregnant is hard.
Please
Don't get me
direct
wrong.
all hate to Josh. No.
but my point is that like it's normal. It's normal as shit.
Like,
You know, I
not
don't
too
know
hard.
anybody though that really asks it. Like everyone, I feel like around me is like, oh no, dude, I don't want kids until I know exactly what I'm.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Until like shit's settled. Or most of them are like, I don't even want kids. But the ones that do are like, I'm gonna wait until shit's together.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a societal thing or like an atmosphere thing? You don't feel that way, so the people in your atmosphere also don't feel that. Like the people you relate with the most are the people you've asked. So, or do you think it's like even outside of your own atmosphere type shit?
It's not. I mean, we just hell no. It's definitely not. I mean, like I guarantee you, no.
Because
I love Robbie, but you hang out with most of the people that he knows. They're either trying for a kid or they have a kid.
I know somebody that's
definitely
got
a
one
different
on the way.
style of life though. Like that,
Definitely
you
a
have different
perspective
visions of what you want right now.
I mean, I know somebody that's got one on the way after already having one and like trying to figure that out.
And
It's tough.
most of the people that I know that have kids are usually like,
That's
oh
what I'm
fuck
saying.
no, don't do that.
Yeah,
They're
I'm
like,
not talking
hell
about
no.
on anybody. But once you have a kid, especially if you have it like with a person on accident, like a one night stand type shit, like that
those
kid, that
are-
is so crazy. Like
That
now you have
is-
another
yeah,
life in the
no.
world. You don't even know this person or like at all. You don't know their family. You don't know nothing, and now you have a human in the world with them.
I
Like,
definitely have like a different viewpoint on that because like that's kind of how I was born.
yeah,
type shit.
Accident babies unite.
And
You accident?
reasons why you should no.
Were you an accident?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I actually my
Boo,
sister
boo this
was, but
man.
I was on
Boo
purpose.
this
Boo this
man,
man.
They were trying for me.
Accident baby. I say accident babies.
They were
get a lot
trying
of
for me.
character. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. So you're the oldest?
No, I'm
Oh,
the,
he's the youngest.
my sister was next.
Oh, okay. So she was first.
Yeah.
I thought you said
But they
your
were
younger
trying for
sister.
me. Like we're 10 years apart. So 10 years later, like, well, let's have another one.
Gotcha. You're after that.
Yeah. Like, let's live a little bit. Now they're like, we could have another kid, I guess,
That's fucking hilarious.
No,
No,
sorry, I'm
no.
not in that same boat. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. But
No, yeah, you're fine. Honestly, oh yeah, your parents love you.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, you're good, whatever.
No, it's fine.
Parents thought about you. Your parents thought it out.
Loser, dude.
You were prepared for it, no problem.
Big respect to mama though. She held it down.
But I don't know, dude. It is a strange thing because I think that a lot of times we are victim to our own like environment and atmosphere, so we think that like everybody thinks the same way that our friends do, type shit. But for me, I don't know. I think it is kind of a societal thing right now. I think it's not just in our atmosphere where people are kind of ready
slowing
to
down on kids?
stop having kids.
I would
Yeah.
say I can't speak to like when our parents grew up or when their parents grew up, but like ever since we've been alive and paying attention to like just the news and in general, it's always been like just straight fear mongering.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't make you seem too hopeful to have a kid because that's like the only thing
It's
the
almost
mainstream has a grip on right now is trying to make us scared.
It's almost to
So,
the
like, why would
degree
I have a
where
kid?
having a kid is an act of bravery.
Right. That's how I feel about it right now. I was
It's
like,
kind of where it's at.
all the crazy shit going on in schools. They're teaching kids about blowjobs and like was
Fucking school
5 and 6
shootings?
year old school shootings alone. Like that's
Like,
just so normalized here. Like
It's gotten to a point where you like kind of
Bro.
a little bit of what I was saying earlier is like I don't really know if like school even really makes sense anymore. Like education definitely makes sense, but school as a concept doesn't really make that much sense anymore. The
everything
whole-
has progressed over time, but the classroom is still we're teaching the same way we taught like 100 years. There's been no. I mean, I guess they give kids iPads now, but still the same structure of school and everything is.
right.
If we wanted people to
shitty-ass
actually learn,
textbooks.
You're
yeah.
dismissed by the bell, not by
They
the
wanted
teacher.
kids to
by the
learn.
teacher, not by the bell type
They
shit. It's
put
like, what
lesson-
the fuck are we doing here?
First of all, the bell's there to fucking
Dismiss me, motherfucker.
Dismiss. As kids, that's how we're trained. The bell means to go to the next class. Shut up.
If they truly wanted to teach kids, they'd pay the top YouTubers, top TikTokers to like give them the lesson plans and make them make content because that's like to make
I mean,
it easy.
that's not a bad idea.
I feel like the way you learn is like everyone knows like
if
who
you
they are.
incentivized people that already had millions of subscribers and just gave them hundreds of thousands of dollars,
The
or
kids are already
millions of
gonna watch it.
dollars
That's
to
what they're
make
doing.
just educational content. Like, I'm not saying they would all take you up on that offer, but like enough of them would. Enough of them would be like, shit, I got a team of people that do all my editing for me. All I got to do is just find a lesson.
even
plan.
if
I
you
can do that.
even if you only get a few, I promise you, if you give them that content, like that's gonna much higher than making kids sit and read a textbook. Like
hoping they read the text.
yeah, because I feel like that's going against the grain. Like nobody wants to do that by default.
Right.
You want to sit there and scroll on your phone.
It's
So
also
a little
like
bit more digestible.
I think it's also like more of a known thing that like people enjoy reading when they're not told to. People whenever you're told to read something, it feels like more. I don't know.
You get
There's
that
a
feeling.
that
You get that
does
feeling,
feel
yeah.
differently than wanting.
It's that same
to
feeling like
indulge a book.
when you're doing something already and someone tells you to do it. Like I was already doing that. Like
Fuck you.
Like,
Now you can do it.
Like, I'm on my way to go do the dishes.
You're about to, and
Yeah,
like, so
it's like you know what?
I'll
No.
put this back
Yeah.
right now.
It's that feeling though. You were okay with doing the task, but now someone else don't need to do it. Doesn't sit right with you.
Like it's like the whenever you're standing up, it's like, why don't you sit down, bro? Like, yeah, that's what I thought. It's like, no, I'll just stand.
That's an unwinnable. It's an unwinnable game, bro.
You know what I mean?
So anything, I was coming back, sorry. Yeah, my bad.
Segues, dude.
So anyway, I was gonna just say like aside from the solar and aside from being married for 3 years, would you say like anything else that's like really inspired you recently?
Really just been grinding, but what I've been trying to do, I talked to Josh about this the other day actually here at Homie Fest. Just trying to not just work, like obviously that's my main goal right now is just to stack up money so I can do these side hustles and businesses with solar, but not keep my head so far down that like I'm not getting out and living. Like,
I was gonna say, do you feel like you're too? Because that's honestly kind of what I want to segue into. Thinking about it, like also just being adults in general. Do you think like you just being so caught up in just doing your own shit, just being on that adulthood life?
So
that, like,
in my family, I'm like one of the oldest. Like I am the oldest cousin. I was the first grandson, so I don't really have a older like role model to look up to. And I don't have like necessarily say like a solid father figure in my life, so like I'm kind of like freestyling what I'm doing right now. Like I don't know, like it's so weird to me.
Brother.
I don't, like I don't know where I'm at. Like when I go to let's just say holidays, for example, I don't know what a 26-year-old is. Like what is my role at Christmas? Am I supposed to be giving gifts for everybody? Am I still a kid and I'm chilling? Cause like I'm the oldest of the kids and I'm obviously an adult now. I'm 26, but like. What is my role here? I don't have any game plan for that, and then also I have a huge family. Now they're all looking up to me, so like, so if I'm not doing shit for Christmas, they're doing
note, though,
this.
like I had this conversation with my pops recently, and he kind of told me some shit that like made me feel kind of stupid. But
nice.
Essentially, I was just telling him I was like the reason I don't like go around with my nephews and my nieces as much is because like a lot of times I do feel like I would be a bad influence on them, and so I don't want to do that. I'd rather be the person that's not as involved than the person that harms them for being involved.
That makes sense. I remember you used to say that to Robbie too.
About Robbie's
like
kids,
you don't want me around your kids.
And it took not just then, because I remember Cressa telling me then whenever I told her that, and also Robbie told me recently about whenever I mentioned that to him. But also my pops told me the same shit. It's like, why do you think that?
Yeah, it's like you're a great person and you have a good heart.
You have zero aspect of knowing how you affect other people.
It's really none of your business, honestly.
Realistically,
none of your business how you impact someone else. They're gonna interpret you how they interpret you.
That, but also he's like saying is like basically his point is the idea of like you could be robbing them of the best experience, thinking that you would give them a bad experience. And that is something that I've been thinking about recently. It's like, well, how much of the things that I'm not doing do I wish I was doing, but I'm keeping myself from doing?
I feel like you're a very smart guy and you're like have a very big heart, but I feel like you hold yourself to a certain standard in your head, and you're not always. Because I'm the same way. Like, like Chris was saying, like you're doing good, you're doing all this. Look how far we made it, but like I know I could be doing better inside.
Right.
And it's like you're doing great, you're doing phenomenal, Josh. But at the same time, in your head, you're like, Josh, you could be up here. You're doing this right now.
You only pay attention to the things you're not doing because the things you are doing don't hold weight.
Exactly. You're beating yourself up for the things.
They're not important. It's like the out of sight, out of mind. Once it's done, it's done.
I'm big with like your baseline.
It's not in my face anymore. The only things that are in my face are the things that aren't done.
Exactly. All the shit that's important and like the must-dos, that's like your baseline. That's I use that like analogy a lot. Like that's your baseline, like just who you are. But then, you always have your goals that you want. So anything you're doing that's in your baseline, like you're not giving yourself credit for that because like this is what I have to do bare minimum to be me, you know? But now I have aspirations, to have the side hustle to do this and to do that. But, you're not giving yourself credit for like your baseline, just things that you're keeping up with on the daily. And that's probably keeping you from like.
Hard to do that sometimes.
It is. But that's keeping you from like feeling like you're good enough to, be around other people's kids because of, the bad things you've done bad things and, your own shortcomings in your own head. You feel like you're not good enough. Certain people.
Yeah, that's a lot of it, I think, and the other portion of it is just like I guess an unrealistic view of like kind of what you're saying is like what an adult is supposed to be.
Yes.
An unrealistic view
Settling
of like
in as an adult.
how I'm supposed to act or be around other people. It's like there is always going to be that like, man, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I'm just going to enjoy my life. But like there's also that factor of like, well, I don't want to hurt anybody.
Exactly.
I don't want anybody to feel bad because of me.
Who am I and how do I want to carry myself as a 26-year-old man?
Yes, that's a big one. That's a tough one.
And then staying true to that. Like,
do you think finding that balance though between being like in that 20, like I was talking about this earlier today too. It's really hard. So do you think being like at the age of 26 right now, it's really like difficult kind of finding that balance between, you know, like working towards all your goals and doing all these things, but also finding that balance between maybe yourself, your
Yes.
significant other, your loved one, and then potentially, you know, your friends, your family, all these.
I
Like,
think
and
that's the secret
where your
sauce.
place is and like how you want to hold yourself. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's the secret sauce of life. I feel like is finding that balance between all of it. I kind of segued into one way, but the main thing I was saying, what me and Josh talked about at Homie Fest, was just like taking myself out of work sometimes and making sure that I'm still making time to have a social life and see like you guys and see everybody, because you know it's been 3 years already, and I could maybe count on my hands of times like seeing each other.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes you get
that's a good point.
you get so caught up in work and like wanting to hit your goals, and okay, once I do that, and like we're doing all this, at least I'm doing all this to get financially stable, because once you're financially stable, then you're free, and you're free with your time, and then once I have free time, guess what, I want to kick it, like once I don't have to be busting my ass all the time, like I want to hang out. But if I don't have a relationship with anybody anymore, I've been busting my ass, get to that point, get to that check mark, and then probably feel even more empty because I haven't talked to anyone in a year or 2 years, or I only saw you, you know, once or twice
But
here
it's
and there. We
also-
grow apart, you know.
It's also
That's true.
important, like, to keep true to what you're trying to do. Like
Yeah.
you're saying, is like
Finding that
once you build that like idea of who am I and how do I want to be perceived by other people. Like you said, the hardest part about finding that, maintaining it.
Yes.
The hardest part about understanding what you want is going to get it.
It really
You
is.
know what I mean? And so like at a certain level, there is that like hesitancy to continue down that path, even if you know it's good for you, just based on all the dumb shit
Yes,
you've done in the
right.
past. Like, man, it's like a specific example for me is like I know that I should be in the gym more than I am for my own health, or more than anything else for my own health. And there's a part of me that understands that I will start that journey. But there's
Not right
also
now.
a fucking horrible part of me that's like, once I start that journey, I'm gonna be on that journey.
Yeah. Not
I
ready
don't
to
have
start
to start
yet.
it
Yeah,
today.
exactly. That's a
But
hard thing.
You know what I mean?
You can
It's
push
like,
it off, and like we said,
that
years
is
go by
the-
so fast. And
That's the enemy of it is that deciding to do what you know you shouldn't be doing has more penalties
Yeah.
and repercussions than you might expect in that
But to
moment.
the same point in advice you gave me earlier, put one foot in front of the other, and once you start, there you are, and then the time's gonna fly by. Then like, oh shit, it's been 3 months, 6 months, and I've been in the
That's
gym.
true. Yeah, and I mean, I was talking to my pops about it yesterday actually. Like, I've heard, I think Rogan talk about it before. Some other people talk about it before as well. David Goggins and shit. But like in life, there's a force that some people call like the resistance.
Yes.
That once you push through, like I kind of akin it to a lot of times when we're either about to record or planning on recording. There's like this feeling that comes over me, like we don't gotta record.
Feeling's a
today.
bitch.
I
hate
don't
that
feel like
feeling.
record. You know, we'll be all right. It's like once you push through that, you do get to like feel the benefits of pushing through that. But if you don't push through that and you do accept the laziness or whatever, it's like you feel exponentially worse.
Oh no, 100%.
But it's so like just warming and easy to just fall into that. Oh no, we don't
It's
have
so
to.
easy to,
Yeah.
but then you feel so much worse for doing
thing-
it. That's
What
the
I
thing.
akin the resistance to is like making your bed. Like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
never gonna be done with it. It's
Right.
always
Right.
coming for you, like every day, every
Yep.
day, and that's the battle. It's the battle with yourself.
It is.
Get up and do the
it's-
shit that you know you need to do. Like your consciousness is gonna tell you. Like consciousness is gonna tell you what you. It's up to you, like how your relationship with that. If you're actually gonna.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean,
It's not like you don't know what you need to do to be successful. Like you at least have an idea and an inkling in your head, whether you're being honest
Fair.
with yourself about it or not. Like, damn, I probably shouldn't be playing this extra game of 2K right now. Extra game
Right.
of FIFA. Like,
man,
I really
should
should be
probably
making.
go right now.
I really should.
But
be
it
making
does
this
go
call.
back to
like
the
you
fact
know
that-
it. You know it's in
Yeah.
there. It's like
Knowing
I'm
what
gonna-
that journey is. Oh, I know what this journey is.
Yeah.
Now I like once I start
It's
doing
Yeah, you
almost
have to
worse,
maintain
yeah.
it. It's almost harder.
But it's like for instance doing this podcast or whatever other goal you have, you know, you're like, okay, do I stop? Like you getting so far into it, you're like, I can't stop now. No matter what bullshit you end up going through, you're like, that wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. That kind of sucked.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you gotta keep fucking doing
Keep
it.
pushing
Yeah,
it.
you gotta stop and give yourself grace though for the things that you have started. And
No,
'cause,
100%.
me and
I
Cressa,
think we also have like an unrealistic view of success because like every great person or a great success story you've ever heard started with 150,000 failures,
Yeah.
and you don't have access to any of them. You don't get to see all of
Apple
the
was started in a garage.
frustration.
Like,
you know what I mean? I mean, I just think about like fucking basketball, like Kobe Bryant and shit like that. Like the dude fucking airballed his first 3 shots in the NBA after getting traded on draft night. Like it's not like in 1996 people thought that Kobe Bryant would be Kobe Bryant.
What were you saying? You and Chris are what?
Just yeah. No, I was saying me and Chris have tried to just like stick to certain like habits, and what we've learned is that we go through as a couple ups and downs because we've been together, if you think, like so long, like a decade, and within that decade we've spent so much time together. Like if you ever think of Corey, it's like Corey and Chris, like we're a package dude. Usually show up together like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah,
But we spend a
100%.
lot of time together, so we have a very abnormal relationship compared to most relationships. More so like best friends, as corny as that sounds, but like she
Yeah, that's
really
how I
is
feel my
like,
relationship
yeah,
right
she
now.
really is like my best friend.
There's nothing
a-
corny about that.
It's like why would I feel that?
It's
It's
like
kind of how I
the-
feel right now. It's like whenever someone invites you to do something, you're like, why would I want to do
Yeah.
that without you? Like, why would I?
Exactly.
Like, it's weird because it's like some people are like, dude, but you're like, nah, dude. Like, why
To
would I
fight that.
want?
Yeah.
Yeah, like why would I want to go do something that's not with my best friend and my lover at the
Exactly.
same time?
But
Like,
that's
that
the thing
sounds-
is that like the only reason that could ever be corny is because someone's jealous that they don't have it. That's
I'd
the
agree.
thing.
I
is-
guess so.
You know what
That
I mean?
makes
It's
sense.
like that. There's nothing corny.
It sounds like a
about
cliche to say
enjoying
or something
yourself.
like that, but it's actually true. So it's like we've always been that way, and fortunate enough to grow up. Like she did grow up with us as a friend group. It's not
Right.
like she was like the outsider. Like she was one of the boys before some of the boys were some of the like.
Right. But I mean, even so, I still remember like in the early parts of y'all's relationship, because I mean, I knew Cressa before I knew you.
Really?
Yeah, I knew her in 5th grade. Like back whenever she was in Dickinson type shit. Like me and her had homeroom together. Like we were pretty good friends. So like once she started dating you in sophomore year, I was like, I
Yeah.
texted her. I was like, yeah, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
that's what a lot of people
Type
were like.
shit. So like there was always this notion that she had, like, without, I don't know if y'all talked about it, but it's seemingly without y'all talking about it, there was always this notion that she had, like, I don't want to step on y'all's toes.
For
the
sure.
The last thing I want to do is be the girlfriend that stops Corey from hanging out with friends.
Exactly.
But it's crazy how that turned into, well, now I'm not going to hang out with my friends unless you're there.
It is wild.
It is wild.
But I don't see the turn of events.
Yeah, but you were saying like
I'm
yeah,
saying like
10
just
years.
us together, yeah, like we're not the same person, but we're very close to the same person in a lot of aspects and norms and things that we do, like in a day-to-day basis. Because we
Yeah.
spent like even before we moved in together, like any waking moment that we weren't together. So we go through a lot of things the same. So we go through our ups and our downs as well. But just finding little habits and things, things to make stick is what I'm trying to get at. So like obviously we want to be in the gym more as well. But just to give a specific example, we went through a period where we were just like, okay, we're going to be healthy. We're going to get on our shit and just do it. We're just going to start, and we're just going we called it like sim mode, like autopilot. Like you got to be a sim and just do the task and don't put any brain thought into it. Like this is what we do. The alarm goes off at 6:30. All right, we're getting up. We're walking. So I got us some weight vest. So we just go walk in the morning. We walk all the way down the street and come back. That would get us up for the morning, and then make us protein shakes in the morning. Then like I need a routine in the morning, because if I don't have a routine, then I'm just gonna go right back to sleep. Like I need a purpose to be
feel
awake
that.
in the hours
that.
of early. Like if
I
it's early
feel
and I
that.
don't have shit to do, like I'm going to sleep. Like why am
Yeah.
I awake? It's dark outside.
Easily.
So like I had to fill my day with things, and then obviously like that's when we were in our high. Then we start to fall off, and usually something happens. One of us gets sick, a holiday happens, and then like okay, now we break that habit cycle.
That cycle.
Yeah, so then we start to go like this for a while. Now we're plateau, and then we'll plateau, then we'll go down a little bit more. Like okay, now we're not on our shit anymore. Now we got to go again. But what I was getting at is we're keeping things. So we stopped going to the gym as much, but we still do our smoothies every. So it's like just finding like how you, like what works for you, and then just to continue to do those things and then stack, because you're
Right.
always going to go up and go down. But if you can go up and keep
Managing
some of
those
those things
peaks
when
and
you're up,
valleys.
keep those as your new baseline. So now when you go down, you're not going down. So then we're young, we're in our 20s now, so let's keep
Right.
doing like the shit we know we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, by the time we hit our 40s,
Yeah,
like,
even
we're
through the ups and
fucking
downs, we should
optimal.
have a lot of good habits and things stacked
Should
for the
should,
high. Should
should.
ideally, if you monitor and make sure that you're
Not
doing the
a-
right things, because we'll also
it's not
go.
a across the board. You fucking will.
Yeah,
So you got to
exactly.
make that.
But
shit
I'm
happen.
a natural optimist, and I believe that things will be better in the future. But
That's
not
good.
by themselves. Like
No,
you
yeah,
obviously
no,
have to
but
play your
that's
part.
The thing is this isn't the secret. You know what I mean? Like you still have to do your job and do what you got to do.
Yeah, put those things in.
Not just
I
a
would say
vision
I'm
board.
fairly religious. I would say I count on God to do His half, and I'll do. Like you give me the opportunities, make some things happen, and like I'll meet you on the other half.
He
Like,
said, "I'm gonna do my part.
yeah,
You better
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Have your side,
That's
though.
really what it is. It's like, listen, I'm not expecting you to do all of it. Like you give me the guide, give me the way, and then like I'll do my half. Good.
I feel that.
So far, that's worked for me. I just feel like you got to just be going the right direction, going in a good trajectory.
It'll all come together.
Yeah, like you're gonna have your dips and your falls, but it's gotten me this far. Like I'm doing okay for myself. Definitely feel like I could be doing better. Could be doing
same.
worse.
100%
But like
same, yeah.
here we are, we're doing it.
But that's the thing is that like to be doing better would require a certain amount of sacrifice, and
Exactly.
that's the thing is that like yes, you could be doing better, but it would require you
At
to
what
be living a
expense?
different life. Yeah, it would require you to be a different person.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be a different person that is doing better. What I'm saying is that you should be doing whatever makes you happy.
I agree.
And if being a little less financially stable or a little less whoever you want to be type
Yeah,
shit
to have a better
makes
social
you
life or to have a
happier,
better
makes you a
XYZ.
better
Yeah.
friend, husband, or whatever, then so be it. You know what I mean? Like, not every great father is going to be a great friend, but I'd
Understood.
rather them prioritize their child than their friend.
Understood.
Let's
Yeah.
just be
Yeah.
honest. Like, so that's kind of where I'm getting at is that like it's okay to fall behind in certain areas as long as there's purpose. You
Yeah,
know, as long as it's
exactly.
not just like fuck it. You know,
Yeah.
like I'll figure it out one day. That can have toxic traits to it, but you don't want to play super deep into the toxic traits because some of that shit's necessary too.
Yeah, that's the hard part of like just figuring out where we're at and just being.
Yeah.
I feel like in between 20 and 30 is just such a weird age because everyone's at such a different stage in their life. You got some
Yeah,
people with
and-
kids, some people not trying to have kids at all, some people
And-
financially stable, some people got homes, some people still in
I
apartments.
think about kind of like what Gary Vee said at one point where he was like, everything you're doing in your 20s, you can do in your 30s, but you'll just be more stable. And I think about it as like, fuck that. Like, fuck. I guess I might be a little different than other people, but my idea of stable, it doesn't really exist. Like, stability is a fleeting like goal.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you'll never truly be
I was gonna have
stable.
another box to check.
Yeah, like I mean, the only way to truly be stable is to have an absolute financial gain without changing your lifestyle,
Yeah.
whatever, in any way, shape, or
Yeah.
form.
But you still have some
eat the
basic
same
things
shit,
you
do
would
the same
like-
shit, but you get a little bit more money. That's how you like
Yeah.
create stability, I guess. But like even in that, you're not enjoying the things
Yeah.
that you're doing, type shit. So I don't know.
Stability
I
in
think
my eyes, like I just want to not have to worry about paying for like just basic stuff, just
that
like food,
I
like
get.
dinner when I go out. Like I don't want to have to really price tag.
That I get, but additionally, it's like I guess what I'm trying to say is that like stability in my mind as a goal limits yourself.
Yeah.
To like this idea of like what you got to do to be stable. It's like, well,
But you're always either
what
you're
if
always
you
gonna be
did-
behind.
What if you were capable of doing more?
Yeah.
And you were only worried about being stable.
I think that's what like
Maybe it
it's
could be
that
thriving.
connotation like that really fucks with me is the idea where I just want stability. There's a negative connotation in my mind because when I think of people who want stability, it's like the most basic
Yeah.
lifestyle you
Cookie
can have.
cutter, like
Just-
Bay Colony ass
I'm
house.
gonna get by. Yeah, I'm gonna get by in order to have. Which don't get me wrong. If that's the
Yeah.
life you want, cool. For me, that sounds fucking
I
awful.
feel like it
I've said
depends
that
on your
awesome times.
childhood because some people might
That's true.
like heavily crave that either because they never had it or because that's all they had. They might be comfortable in that or they've
That's
never had
fair.
it and they just want to be like, oh, I just want to be stable for once.
I
That
live
is
for the rush
fair.
of life. What can
Yeah,
I
because
say?
everyone's gonna want something different out of life.
What can I say? I love fucking pinto beans.
What the fuck? Nah, I was saying more so like I guess I like the fucking. I love the rush of not knowing what I'm eating tomorrow or if I'm eating tomorrow. I'm kidding. But more so the. More so the idea of if I'm gonna like, I guess, what can I do? You know, like what's next for me? What can I provide?
Yeah.
What am I capable of doing on my own, myself, rather than just being, you know, okay, I went and did this one thing and then I just kind of fell into a life that felt stable.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think of stability. It's like I just did these things that
Feel like
put me
stable
in
is
this-
boring. Feel like? Yeah.
I don't think being I don't think. Okay, look, there's different terms. Like being financially stable sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Being stability in general sounds fucking boring. I want a life that's like kind of, you know, like
a little
you're all-
edge to it.
Yeah, dude, you want to be on your toes. You don't want to
You need
fucking
some
know
risk.
what to.
Yeah.
Okay, who honestly wants to live a life? I mean, there's probably somebody, but most people, if you ask them, do you think they would say they want to live a life that's the same every fucking day?
I don't.
No, right?
I mean,
That sounds awful.
I worked at
It
Amazon. I
depends-
hated that shit.
It depends on the extravagance of the same. Now, like if you woke up every day to like a full course breakfast and you went into your living room and just had like a stupid bad bitch in your living room, just
You
like
get tired of it though if it's day in day
I
out.
think I don't know.
Depends how
No.
good. If you're
Hold-
living like the
hold
top
on.
1%.
I'm only at 9 a.m. here.
but those people eventually are like, oh, it's just another day on
We
the
just getting
boat.
started.
You know those people so rich, like, I'm on the boat again.
No, I get what you're
guess,
saying.
Whatever. You know, it becomes a
But
thing
I
where
think
you're just
that's
tired.
beyond. I think that's beyond the idea of stability.
There's people who fucking microdose homelessness just to feel something. 'Cause they're like, I was pretending to be homeless for.
Microdose homelessness. Okay, man.
That's wild. That's
You know,
wild.
camping is kind of that.
It's just a little microdose. Just hitting a little micro real quick.
Come on, kids.
But no, the thing is, though, like,
Get your s'mores.
you
We're about to
know,
go
there's-
microdose some homelessness.
there's probably some people. There are rich people out there. I guarantee you that are like, yeah, I pretended to be homeless for a few hours. It's not so bad. Just to
Oh
feel
yeah, no,
something,
I mean some people do it for their fucking YouTube channel.
yeah. But
Clout.
my point being is stability is more so it's that thing where I feel, you know, routine I think are good. I agree. Like I need some type of routine at least to feel productive. But there's also that point where it's just doing the same thing every day and you're not really doing it to really. I think that. Let me formulate my thoughts here. A lot of people feel like a lack of purpose because they're doing that same thing every day without really a meaning for any of it. They're just
Not
doing
seeing like
it
an
to
end goal, anything that like you're not
Nothing.
happy doing.
It also kind of
Yeah.
goes back to his point earlier. Is like whenever you're not doing new things, your time is going by so fast. You
same
feel like
shit
your
every
life
day.
is just running past itself because you're doing the
Nothing
same
new, nothing's
mundane
changing
things.
with day in day out. But also like no matter where you're at stability wise, I think what we're all hitting on is like you don't grow when you're comfortable. Grow when
Right.
you're uncomfortable. Like when you're
Yes.
getting other experiences, things you've never experienced before. Like that's when we grow and like when we thrive, and that's like scary because like we hate new shit. But
Well, I saw a reel today of like this woman talking about how like the want of something. Say like she used a couple of examples, but essentially she was like the want of being financially stable is directly correlated with your willingness to not feel financial stability. What that means is that like while you're saving money, it's gonna feel like you're broke. It's gonna feel like you're not financially
I
stable
always feel
while you're saving money and
does feel like that,
becoming
yeah.
more stable.
Does feel
It's
like
like
that,
so
low-key.
like across everything. If you want to be better at your job, it's not gonna feel like you're being better at that job while you're learning how to be better. You know what I mean? So like that kind of extrapolates into the other fields of your life. Like if you do feel comfortable in something, you don't have a lot of room to grow in that thing. You know what I mean?
You're not really learning, then you're not growing at that point. Because you're already, I mean, you like if you're fucking doing the same shit every day, like I already know this shit. There's nowhere to go from here.
It's not even that. It's almost about the attitude because you could be learning new shit, but if you feel comfortable, if you have this like attitude, like I'll get it together, I'm all right, then you're not actually taking in that information. You're not actually learning anything. You're just being given new information type shit.
I think that's you put it in like perfect words. That's exactly what I feel. Which I don't think stability.
But that's the thing. I think the concept, the action of stability is beautiful. The concept of it is kind of tarnishing in the way that like stability, like I said earlier, it doesn't realistically exist because every single person's stable is different, and the same person's stable can change from a day-to-day basis in the way that like you could be absolutely financially stable today until your girlfriend says, "Baby, I'm pregnant." Then your financial stability just went through the fucking floor.
100%. But it definitely is one of those things where, like, fuck. I thought big time. Like I had it. And it's brain fart. All right, back to you. Corey.
Back to you. Back to me. Back in the booth.
He's just
No,
getting rained on.
I've been trying to contemplate. There's 3 things that never change in life, and I used to have it down, and I forgot what it's bad. But I have 2. I have 2 of the 3. It's very similar to that. But 2 is pain and uncertainty. Those are 2. There's one other one, but I can't remember it for the life of me. But those things are like, no matter what, those are like baselines of things we're always going to have to deal with. It doesn't matter how much money you make, who you are, who your family is. Like, no matter what, you're going to feel pain. There's going to be uncertainty. I can't remember what the other one is. But just, those are things you're always going to have to deal with. Taxes is also true. You're always going to get, Uncle Sam's always going to get his. But
Yep. What was it? The 3 what?
The 3 amigos. The
3 musketeers. No, 3 things that never change in life. I don't know. I think I heard it on a podcast. I read it in a book, maybe an audible book. Pain, uncertainty. There's one other aspect.
Constant work.
Yes, constant work. That was it. Those 3 things.
People who accept is made up of pain, uncertainty, constant work are better equipped and essentially happier than those who are constantly trying to avoid.
Exactly. So
That's
the
true,
better
though.
relationship you get with those 3 things, like until you die, that's the burden that we have
That is
living
the
on
life
this
you
planet.
live.
So get comfortable being uncomfortable with those 3 items because they're not going away ever.
I love
That's
that.
interesting.
You can master those 3 things. Like, it's not like a guide to the universe or anything like that, but you're gonna have an easier time in the world.
The way you put that, well, I guess the way they put that is kind of perfect. It's like the person who recognizes this is better equipped. You know what I mean? Like that, because that really is realistically is what it is. If you change that perspective of those things, and instead of seeing them as life happening to you,
That's
and,
exactly what it is.
you know what I mean.
Put it.
And instead, you see it as you getting to
Experience that.
pain, you getting to have constant work, you getting to have the blessing of the struggles that you have.
Our book is
You know what I
already
mean?
written. Those things are already written in the book. You don't know what page
Right.
it's on. You don't know when you're going to experience
Right.
that, but it's coming. So just like you said, experiencing it. Like, not
Mhm.
life is happening to you, but you getting the opportunity to experience one of these things are most definitely going to happen to you.
It is one of those things that we don't give respect to. Like you're always whenever you're sick, you don't respect whenever you're healthy. Whenever you're hurt, you don't respect whenever you're healed. Whenever you're in like crying, you don't respect the moments when you're smiling. And that kind of speaks to like stuff like this, where it's like you don't really respect your ability to, because there are so many that cannot. You know what I mean? Or don't get to because they died at young age or had a
Got the
horrible
opportunity.
childhood. You know what I mean? Like they're as bad as you think you've had it, you have the blessing of getting to continue on. You know? In a way. I get that can sound horrible depending on
Your circumstance.
upbringing, but yeah.
That still goes right back to it. Pain, uncertainty, and constant work. No matter what you go through, good or bad, you're still gonna have to deal with those things. So eventually, you could be the victim your whole life. Like, it sucks. Like, terrible shit happens to people all the time. Victim for take ownership. I guess forgive people for happens. Bro, I mean, it's an easy trap to fall into.
It's
to be
a
the victim.
it's a brave
Sometimes you are
thing
the
to
victim.
do.
Yeah.
It's a brave thing to do, to forgive the things that have happened to you, because one, nobody can do it for you.
Exactly.
It is completely up to you.
For you to
But
say, "I'm not gonna
two,
let this hold
there-
me down."
It doesn't feel like there's any benefit in it, even though there is.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you're getting anything out of forgiving that person that did
Then a
that thing
shitty
to you.
situation at the end of the
You,
day.
the back of your mind, like, well, they don't deserve my forgiveness, but that doesn't change the factor of which you will benefit from forgiving them. And that's something that gets lost in translation, I feel like. It's like you're not forgiving them for them, you're forgiving them for you.
Got up.
All right. I think honestly that's a good place to wrap it up.
I love your
Yes.
segues tonight. It's like, all right.
It's the best.
All right. 'Cause everyone's
Back
just
to
like,
Dandy.
Fuck yeah, dude.
yeah. All right. Well, not. I mean, we're closing in on 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Purple dinosaur.
did pretty good,
Purple
honestly.
doof.
That last 30 minutes was pretty solid, dude. Live your life. You know, life, like you said, pain, uncertainties, constant work.
Take
dude.
that away if nothing else. We
These
talked a lot of
nuts.
bullshit. But
so what?
we talked a lot of bullshit, but if nothing else, take away pain, constant work.
I think we talked about it. I mean, we talked about marriage. We talked about fucking like work through sales and just like change of perspective. And then we talked about fucking.
Hell yeah.
We talked about like that, just like working towards your goals. I thought it was pretty good. So if you take anything, get married.
Get married.
Don't have kids.
Get married, have kids, and then get divorced.
Make calculated steps.
That's a good one.
Through,
Yeah, I like that.
Think
Calculated
things-
steps are
calculated steps
definitely.
are
That's a really good
Do what
one.
makes you happy,
Calculated
bro.
step.
From the great words of
Don't just be doing random
Dr.
shit.
From the great words of Daniel Glebe. You can do better than this, Daniel.
He did say some shit like that. Yeah, he did tell me some shit like that. Real shit. Funny. All right, thank y'all for tuning in, though. Appreciate you,
gang.
Corey, for
Thanks for
coming
having
on
me.
again. 3 years later, we had him back on. We'll probably have him on
He'll
again.
be on again.
See y'all
You
again.
guys
What do we-
stay
See y'all again in
tuned.
2026.
Yeah. Y'all keep
Definitely
pushing
before
out there.
then.
Stay motivated.
That's it.
I was like, are you gonna say? I was like, I thought you were gonna say, have a great week, you
It
guys.
sounded like you were gonna say some stay motivated and blah blah blah, and I was gonna wait.
Paying and
until
surgeon
the-
your
That's
constant
word.
work.
All right, later, y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good week.